I emailed you that stuff, Janet, so you can print it. It's the sponsor pages and performance, or winning race brands.
So what we have down here behind your right shoulder, this is
Yeah, we're supposed to be live in 5 minutes.
copy.
Yes, she says yes.
It's up to George and Caden. George and Caden.
Color guard, all that kind of stuff, Janet?
I'll find out.
Can you hear that when I'm moving that pen around or anything? Can you hear that very well, Zach? I hear it real.
What I hear is when you guys breathe or scuff the mic or adjust your headset.
Okay. Yeah, I won't be touching the mic. So if this distance is good. All right, good.
There is a mute button on that mixer by your fader, so your fader 1.
I see it. I think I'm fader. I think I'm fader 2.
Well, hit the red button on fader 1.
I'm watching the VUs. I can tell I'm number 1. Okay, all right, I should be dead now.
You're not dead. Oh, yeah, you are dead.
Yeah, I'm fader 2. Look, you set it up nice and legit. You set it up intuitively. She's sitting on that side. That's what fader it is. I like that.
Well, I had my other guy set it up, so I'm just hoping they did it right.
That's right. Hey, it's the little things. I'm telling you, I've done enough of these with guys that just are these backyard, never done it before, and I just say, look, when you guys get ready, you let me know, because I'd rather do television than a really bad show.
I'm not going to make it. We're going live in 5 minutes, but I'm going to check on those other 2 votes. So stand by. Okay. Hey Siri, call Ed Went.
Calling Ed Went mobile.
So let's,
Yep, she is. Okay. All right. So everything that we're talking about right now is going live out over a broadcast, or we're not actually pushing the broadcast button until 8:30. Okay. Good.
Calling Brian Creech mobile.
It's, Janet, if you're going to take the headset off or do anything like that, yours is the red mute button. Just push that and turn it off. I just muted her mic, Zach, so that when she does come and put it on, if we happen to be on the air, it won't clunk. Okay. Yeah, if you can print those. I just hit print and it didn't do anything on it. Yeah, I muted it. Okay.
Okay, so if you can tell George and Camden that the color guard, everything's ready, they can start. Christy Clark, I'll call her right now.
Gotcha.
Christy Clark Mobile.
Hey, Zach, something to think about maybe for future ones, if there's a way that you can give us a monitor button so that we can push it and it'll turn off the broadcast so that we can talk directly to you. That's really helpful. I'm sure you guys have done that before. Oh, gotcha. Well, we'll have them for Huntington, right? So it's all good.
All right, they're gonna, whoever's with Camden, going live. Christy's going to get with Camden and George, and they're gonna go live. They're ready. So, yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to be quiet until you tell us to go. All right, I'll go ahead and take over the intro.
Oh, yeah, you do all the talking, man. I'm just sitting here. I'm the pretty face.
And I want you to ask me the questions. Huh? Good morning and welcome to West Palm Beach. I'm your host, Martin Sanborn, for the 2024 Gateway Marathon Speed Record Run. I'm joined by Janet Wilson. Janet, you've been putting on this Ocean Cup for a while. We've got a big day of racing. I think we're going to go straight to the color guard, and the boat should be ready to come out.
That's right, Martin. I'm glad you're here. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to the color guard, and we're going to get this show on the road. We've got all kinds of racing coverage. This is a 128-mile speed record run. They're going to take off here from West Palm Beach. They're going to go. They have to pass the 79th meridian. They have to make a counterclockwise turn to come back. Let's go back to the color guard.
Inlet out to West End, Grand Bahama at the 79th meridian. Making a quick turn for everybody and coming back. We have 6 boats in 4 classes that are making this attempt. First one back doesn't necessarily win. It's all based on time. I want to introduce you to and welcome the Sea Cadets from Delray and Boca, Florida.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallant. Say does banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, that was Suni Bezzi doing the national anthem. You saw on the dock there, the teams are on the dock getting ready to get into the boats. So we're going to go over and talk about a little bit about what we're going to see here today. As I mentioned, it's 128 miles round trip. The current record is actually held by Nigel Hook in the boat that is now branded as Trump 2024. He did it in 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 4 seconds. And as we look out our window, it looks pretty flat, Janet. I think there's a really good chance that that number might get blown away today.
I think that's a high probability, although in the middle, where the Straits of Florida and the Gulf Stream, it can get a little different.
The guys were talking about testing yesterday, what it was like. It was calm in the morning, and they said it really laid down out farther. Nigel was talking about he's probably going to have to run 110, 115 miles an hour average to beat his number. Talking with the Patriotic Duty guys, they're pretty confident they're going to be able to run a pretty consistent 100 mile an hour. And if they do that, they're going to obliterate the V-bottom record as well. We'll see what it's like. The one thing about there is they were talking about they were running in a kind of a quartering swell, which is a little bit odd to do, especially in a V-bottom, the way the boat wants to kind of heel over, and when you come up the next side of the next one, you got to be careful. And at those speeds, you really have to watch a long ways ahead. Talking with Andy Copeland, he was talking about his turbine-powered boat. It's an even bigger deal for him. Those turbines just don't have the throttle response, so if he sees a bump, he's got to see it way out to pull the throttles back. It's a solid almost 2 seconds. Snatching the throttles back before it actually has any effect.
Yeah, those turbines are a lot different.
And in a V-bottom, you use that actually kind of as a brake. You use your throttle, so you pull it back, slows the props down, rolls the nose of the boat over. He's not going to have that advantage. So he actually described that once he gets the boat set at the speed, he really pretty much almost takes his hands off. And there we're looking at the turbine-powered boat right there. That's a 42-foot fountain with a pair of twin turbine helicopter motors in it. So the boat's capable of a little over 150 miles an hour.
Gosh, look at that. Sailfish Marina is absolutely beautiful. This is a top-notch marina right at the inlet. The teams are just going to be pulling out in a few minutes. They're going to go out and mill in front of Peanut Island. The helicopter will go up, and they start individually. These are individual record runs. So the first boat will go off, and then the helicopter will come back. The second boat will go, and so on.
Yep, it takes a little bit of the edge off for the racers. They can actually just focus on the run as opposed to focus on getting yourself lined up against all the other boats heading towards the first turn. We just don't have that here. These boats are going to be able to get themselves spaced out. They run their own race. They're racing against a clock. Now, I know that the guys were talking about they're going to go ahead and They're going to go ahead when they take off. The faster boats are going to try to run a little bit together for a little bit so we can see what they look like side by side. Then they're going to go ahead and take off and go from there. So, as I mentioned, it's 128 miles round trip as we're looking at Nigel Hook there. He's the one with his back to us.
Yeah, he's racing with Roger Norman. They did the off-road race last week. They did the Baja 500 together, so they were in the dust and the dirt on last Saturday, and this Saturday they're going to be in the water and the salt.
Well, Roger is actually the owner of SCORE, the offshore or the International Off-Road Racing Association. So he's a trophy truck champion, and they went out and got to have fun in a class last week. Got a chance to talk to them, and we'll actually get a chance to talk to. I got a chance to talk to his mother earlier, and his mother is Fran Muncy. She was the owner manager of one of the winningest unlimited hydroplane teams in history, and was also inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame. Not a lot of women in our sport. I mean, she's probably the leader, and then Betty Cook is probably the next most common, most well-known in boat racing sport. But they won 7 Gold Cup championships back-to-back with driver Chip Hanauer. So
That's right.
Number of sponsors. But we had a chance. We'll get a chance to talk to her a little bit later as we're looking at the teams getting ready to go. Some of these boats have a couple guys in them. Some of them have 3. Right now we're on board Patriotic Duty. They've got 3 guys going to run the boat, driver and throttleman up front, navigator sitting in the back. Again, that boat is powered by a pair of 1150, 1350 Mercury QC4V motors. Those are turbocharged motors. They were on top of the Raymarine. They call it Super Fountain. That's Andy Copeland, 42-foot fountain. That's that turbine-powered boat. One thing about the turbines on that boat also, it is not shiftable underway. So once they put that thing in gear, it's got what we call crash boxes. That transmission is in gear in that direction. And when they come into dock, they'll go ahead and stop the turbine side of that motor, go ahead and shift the transmission back into another gear, and then if they need to maneuver the boat in reverse, they can engage that or take that brake off. So definitely a challenge. A lot of challenges going on with those kind of boats, but the reliability of turbine engines is definitely a factor that weighs in without all the reciprocating engine stuff. But you have a whole different set of things that happen when we put a turbine engine in a boat. Airflow is different as far as feeding the engine as well as cooling the engine. So looking forward to seeing how those guys do. Let's take a look at the teams that we've got running this weekend. Probably there are nostalgic and a very well-known boat, Apache number 69. Lauren Leibel is going to be driving this boat with Bobby Latham from Latham Marine, and Yaviz Savuri will be navigating that boat. That boat is a 1986 47-foot Apache prototype. And as you look at the names on the side of that boat, actually, it's got some pretty famous names from the past. Ben Kramer, Bobby Cicente. That boat has been around and seen it and done it. They actually redid the power on that boat to keep it contemporary to the period as well as far as a look and aesthetics, but they're 750 horsepower Sterling replica 496 engines. So that boat is going to be fun to watch. The very heavy V-bottom, 12,000 pounds, but those boats were made to just romp through this rough water, so looking forward to seeing how that boat does. Next we've got Heatwave. That's a number B37. Brian Creech is the driver, throttleman, and owner. Matt Field is the navigator from Newark, California. It's a 1988 36-foot Mirage built in Florida with a pair of Mercury Bulldog 500s built by Grom Racing. Speedmaster 3 drives another heavy boat, 12,000 pounds. Then we have Patriotic Duty, number F18. Tony Adams is the owner-driver. Steve Seaton is the throttleman. And Alan Bellinghausen is the navigator and manager of the team. All from California, Pleasanton and Discovery Bay. It's a 2004 47 Outer Limits GTX with a pair of 1100 1350 Mercuries and number 8 drives. They actually set the record running from the Bay Area down to Southern California. Northern California to Southern California record last year.
That was an amazing record. So that was, we call it the Golden Gate to the Queen Mary, but they also did a dip into Marina Del Rey to pick off Bob Norsgaard's record. So let's hear from Andy.
Cody Wagner.
All right, Andy Copeland and Cody Wagner, the Ray Marine boat. Give us a little bit of understanding of what's going to happen today.
We're going to head out of the inlet here, and we're going to make an attempt to the Bahamas and back to break the world record.
What's the world record right now?
The world record's hour and 4 minutes, and we're going to try to average about 105 miles an hour and get it in an hour and 3.
How's this
we
boat?
got turbine power. We're going to bang on this thing all day long to see what it'll do.
You said an hour and 4 minutes or 104 mile per hour?
105 is what we're going to do.
We're going to do 105, okay.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys are going to have some fun today.
We're going to have some fun. So this is the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. I went out yesterday for my first trip, believe that or not, as a wheelman. Caught my first 100 mile per hour jump, jumping a 41-foot boat out of the water. Words can't explain it. You cannot explain it. The ride is not that bad. We're wishing for good seas today. Hands down, got the fastest boats. So smooth seas are our friend.
Well, Cody, give me a little bit of an understanding of what happens inside the cockpit. You have a throttle man and a driver, which is a steering wheel man, right?
Yes, sir. Andy's the wheel man. He's the busy man in the boat. He's got to watch the tabs, the trim. He's got to monitor all of everything that the turbines are putting out. All I got to do is look at a screen and make sure I go straight and hold the wheel straight.
So let's go ahead and ask Andy. How is it being in sequence with your co-driver?
You know, it's actually the biggest part of this team is the communication between us and knowing what each other are doing at the same time. He's got to key into my clues, whether I'm saying drift right or turn right. You know, he's really got to key into what I'm telling him to do and how to stay straight and what path we're heading on. So working as a team in this boat is paramount to making sure we're successful at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for letting us follow you. We're going to be able to sit in the cab with you, so you guys going real fast. I appreciate it, boys.
Absolutely.
Good luck today.
Thank you for what
Enjoy the ride.
Thanks for hooking us up with the feed inside.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
That was Andy Copeland and Cody Wagner. You know, what he was talking about, that driver throttleman thing, that is a big deal. That really is the secret of offshore powerboat racing. And when you get down to it, there's really only one other sport that I'm aware of that has that kind of coordination between two guys in a motor vehicle, and that's rally racing. And the best way I can describe it is imagine that we're going to go out and we're going to run in your car. I'm going to be running the gas pedal. I may not necessarily be able to see where we're going. You're going to be driving it, but we're going to be doing it at 100 miles an hour on a surface that's moving in traffic. That's what it's like. So the coordination between those guys has to go beyond talking on an intercom system. It has to go to the point where when you're going into a turn as the throttleman, you need to know that your driver's thinking like he's got his foot on the pedal, and as you as the driver have to know that the throttleman's going to set the boat up right for you to make the turn.
And there are no brakes.
And there are no brakes. There are no brakes. It is definitely a unique sport that takes a different kind of individual to do it, and there's a lot of trust, and you have to have that experience with the guy. And the challenge for those guys, as he mentioned, you know, he'd had his first 100-mile-an-hour boat ride yesterday. He's hopping in this boat. Just, you talk about getting thrown right from the frying pan into the fire. This guy is going to get baptized by fire in this event.
They're going to have a great time. So the patriotic duty team, I don't know if you can see that there's a third seat in there. They contacted me to do the NorCal to SoCal, the Golden Gate to Queen Mary, running down the coast here. And I said, well, why don't you do a smaller race first, do the Huntington Beach around Catalina. They did that, and then they decided we need a navigator. Because when you're out of sight of land, you need to be able to know where you're going. And the throttleman has his hands full most of the time, and the driver has his hands full most of the time. So they added a third seat so that they could make sure they took the straightest line possible.
You know, as Fred Kiefer said, you know, we're putting offshore back in offshore, and back in the day you did have 3 guys in the boat, sometimes 4 if you were carrying a mechanic, so that the driver and throttleman can be focused on getting the boat going in the right direction and running properly, and the navigator is the one that's setting up all your cues. Now, of course, now we've got electronic navigation, which makes things a lot easier. In the past, it was a stopwatch and a compass. So you knew your heading, you knew how long it should take you at this speed to get to your mark. You get to that mark, you turn, you put your heading on the compass, and you just try to set it on that heading and go from there. Now, if they go ahead of time, they can set it up. And we're actually getting ready to go to an interview with Nigel Hook. So let's go to the Trump 2024 boat, and we're going to go to Nigel Hook here in just a second with his driver Roger Norman, and here's Nigel.
All right, Nigel Hook, you got world record run at the Gateway Marathon here in West Palm Beach. It's going to be pretty cool today.
Actually, it's going to be pretty hot today. Already sweating here, but it's a beautiful day in Palm Beach, in West Palm Beach here, and we're going to check out the weather in the Bahamas in a rapid amount of time.
Yeah, so we want to know a couple things. We would like to see what spawned all these stickers on the boat, man.
Well, I'm very privileged to be racing with Roger Norman today. Roger is a world champion. One of the greats of the off-road sport. I raced with him last weekend in the Baja 500 in his single-seater. We took turns, and we're returning the favor today for him to be in this boat. And Roger has a close affiliation to this campaign, and I thought this is a good idea to promote it in this event. So, yeah, I feel this is going to be really transformational for our sport to see what we can do for the next election.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool to see. And you guys are going to do a world record run. Will you give us a little bit of information about the vessel that you're driving?
Yeah, this is currently the world's fastest ocean boat. It's hopefully we'll break the record today and get it even higher. But last year it averaged about 104 miles an hour to the Bahamas and back. This is a 52-foot Mystic catamaran, and it's got power by twin Mercury 1350 horsepower quad cam 4-valve engines, and it's been rigged by Herb Stotler engines, and it's a fantastic boat. It set several records on the East Coast and the West Coast. So yeah, I couldn't pick a better ride to be in today. This boat is all carbon, all epoxy pre-preg. It's very, very strong and very, very fast.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see you guys go out there and do that. We were just talking with the Ray Marine boat, and they were saying how excited they are. Can you give me a level of excitement about you and Roger being teamed up together this weekend?
Yeah, it's tremendous, right? Because I got a bit of an inkling of what it's like in off-road, and that's a very, very tough sport. Quite different. There's also quite a lot of commonalities. So Roger and I have gone backwards and forwards and talking about what's different between off-road and offshore. But at the end of the day, it's an adventure, right? You're racing either 500 miles through Baja, or you're racing 126 miles to Bahamas and back. You never know what's out there. It's not like circuit racing where you're going lap over lap over lap. This is incredible. You know what? The reason these races have become less popular in the past is because they brought the races into the shore so people could watch. Now with this technology from Score International that Roger's developed in the Score International series for Baja 1000, Baja 500, we're running these Starlink systems connected to all the SpaceX satellites on this race boat. So we'll be streaming live as we go there from the cockpit, from the helicopters, all the way there and back. So the public can actually tune in and go to the race of 2024. And that's where you'll be able to see the live stream.
Yeah, thank you very much for telling all the public, man. We can't wait to see you guys and ride along with you, Nigel. Have a great race.
Thank you, George.
And that was Nigel Hook on the Trump 2024 boat. I do like the number on that boat, number 47. So looking forward to him being number 47 after being number 45. That's my take on the scenario. Here we're on board Patriotic Duty as they are on their way out. So they're going to get themselves staged over by Peanut Island and get them set to go. So, Janet, tell us about what order the boats are going to take off, how you guys set that up. Normally poker runs, we usually let the faster boats go first so that they're not blowing through the slower boats. How are you guys doing it?
Well, we normally let the pilots decide because, again, this is an at-will start, but I give them some guidance, and so we've chosen to have the slowest boats go first. So we're going to start off with the heat wave boat. However, I've been I stand corrected here. I apologize. The fountain is going to go first because they're running the turbines and the jet fuel, and they burn through a lot of fuel every minute they're idling. It's more efficient to be running than it is to be idling. So as soon as they push off, the helicopters will go up, and we're going to have some fantastic helicopter footage through the Starstream system and the stream boxes that Georgia's company has put up. It's absolutely amazing. Like Nigel was saying earlier, it's going to change the sport, having Starlink and streaming from the videos. So the plan is to have the fountain go first. The second boat was going to be the Apache. The reason the Apache is going second is because we need to have a gap between boats that are in the same class. The Apache and the Outer Limits are competing directly for the same record. The Class B V-Hull greater than 45 class. So that's the Apache and the Outer Limits, so we'll see who can set the record. They both raced last year. The Outer Limits had a problem where they got seaweed in their strainers, and luckily, because the engines were overheating, they found out they had a hose leaking and they were filling up the bilge. So that was kind of fortuitous, otherwise they'd be carrying a lot of water. Coming up third is going to be Heat Wave. Heat Wave had a problem last night, and I'll just say that the race-winning brands, Ed Wendt and Bill McComb, worked with them until 4 in the morning. Those two teams worked together to make sure Heat Wave could make the start. They're going to have to stop for fuel. I'm not sure if they'll be third off or not, but that's the plan. They'll be third off. Fourth off is going to be race-winning brands, and that's Ed Wendt and Bill McComb and the Skater, the Spider-Man 2 boat, which has been rebranded a few times. We're super excited to see how this boat runs because this is certainly their water. And then the next start will be Patriotic Duty, followed by Trump. So that is the starting order.
Well, let's take a look at what the records are currently. In cats greater than 45 feet, as we mentioned, that is going to be Nigel Hook in the record, and that is the Trump boat today. He did it in 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 4 seconds with an average speed of 102.31 miles an hour. In the less than 30-foot V-bottom, Revelation Racing holds the record. They were at 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 29 seconds, averaging 59.31 miles an hour.
I'll just interject, that was a father-daughter team.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that the Patriotic Duty didn't finish, had a problem. Apache ended up winning last time, so they have the record in V-bottoms over 45 feet at 1 hour, 37 minutes, and 13 seconds, averaging 79 miles an hour. And then we had a center console run. Center console 35 to 40 feet. A fountain did it in 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 14 seconds, averaging 69.67 miles an hour. So we don't have any center consoles running this in this particular race. So we have the Apache, Heat Wave Racing, Patriotic Duty. Rolling Vengeance didn't make here, and we'll talk a little bit about Rick Beluga Wheels. He's had some medical problems, and we certainly wishing him the best, and I know he wishes he was here. But he didn't make it here because of that. Andy Copeland and Cody Wagner in Super Fountain 47. That is the Ray Marine boat. Trump 2024 47, Nigel Hook and Roger Norman. And then we have race-winning brands number 11. That's Bill McComb and Ed Wendt, and that is in a 40-foot Skater V-hull, as we're on board Ray Marine. That's the throttleman's seat. So I was looking at that boat, how they reset that boat from when it ran as a stern-drive piston-powered engine boat. And this boat was built by Skater, but they changed everything over. I liked how they reinforced the canopy systems, but they had to add all the instrumentation for the turbines, but they also take away a lot of the instruments you just don't need that relate to a piston engine. So that top row of instrumentation you see at the top, that's everything related to the turbines. A lot of the other stuff on that boat is all done by screens. And they're in isolated canopies, so their communication is going to have to be electronic because they can't really hand signal each other. One can't reach to touch the other. Certainly, one can't reach over and grab the throttles, the other can't reach over and grab the wheel. So communication is electronic for these guys. different situation running in that kind of boat. Most of the canopy boats today are all now side by side in the same canopy so they can communicate a little bit better visually.
And look at this onboard camera. This is amazing. This is through the Starlink system provided by Starstream. And we have 3 boats running this system today.
I am looking forward. I wish I could see closer the look on Cody's face, because this is going to, watching his expressions as they're running, it's this kind of a race. As Nigel was mentioning, this isn't circuit racing where you're going around, running the same lap over and over again. Now, one thing about offshore, just like off-road, when you're going around, the track changes. Unlike, if you're running on an asphalt track, turn 1 always has the same bump. It's the same thing. These guys, when they get out going, it's continuously changing. So the idea when they get out there and run these boats and have to experience continual flexibility and adapt to the situation, again, it really is something to watch. And getting all this brought to us live like this, we haven't had this before. It's going to make it a lot easier for us to bring it to you and explain what's going on, as opposed to watching dots going around the screen. That is for sure. And this is Patriotic Duty, and it looks like they're getting themselves up. All right. The fountain is underway. As we mentioned, this turbine-powered boat burns just about as much fuel idling as it does running at speed, and he just went by us going out the inlet. So there goes Ray Marine, Andy Copeland, and Cody Wagner. That is a pair of twin Turbo Mecha Turbo C6 engines. They're helicopter motors running through Mercury Racing M8 drives. Their total fuel capacity is this says 200 gallons. I know they've got fuel tanks in the front of the boat, fuel tanks in the rear of the boat. What Andy told me they do on this boat when they get running is they'll burn off the fuel in the front first. When they get to where they need to make the turn, that'll move the center of gravity back on the boat. Then they'll go ahead and he'll put fuel back up in the front of the boat. Running in a straight line, this boat likes having the center of gravity a little bit farther forward. The motors are lighter. Turbine motors are lighter than a reciprocating engine by quite a bit. So it changes the center of gravity the way these boats need it in order to turn well at speed. So right now they have this boat set. It actually carries a little bit more tail light than it will with a stern drive. So he does run a little bit more weight up in the bow of the boat. This boat also has a ballast tank in the fuel, which he said he doesn't expect to have to use. As you're looking at that screen on the left, you see those 4 pins sticking up. The 2 in the middle are telling him what the angle of his drives are. The 2 on the outside are telling him what the angle of his trim tabs are in relation to the bottom of the boat. Nice flat conditions. You got just a little bit of bobble on the boat. Really good attitude on the boat. The key thing on these canopy boats that you want to try to set up from the driver and throttleman's perspective is when you're looking out, you want to see just a little bit of the water. You never want to lose sight of the horizon. That way he can read the water. And as I mentioned, the throttle response on a turbine is not the same as it is on a reciprocating engine. So Andy's got to be watching quite a ways ahead at the speeds they're running right now. And right now you see that water coming off the bow of the boat. He is using the ballast tank. So he did just blow water out of the ballast tank. That's what that was coming out there. Nice calm water. I don't even see any rollers right now. It does kind of look like they're running in a little bit of a trough, the direction they're going. Now these seats are also on a suspension, which is nice. Most of the canopy boats today, the seats have some play in them so that your spine is not taking the shock. The other thing we do to take the shock out of the seats in these kind of conditions is you're canted back just a little bit so it's not a direct vertical compression on your spine. As we're watching Cody running the wheel. Now, on Cody's side, he's got 2 LCD screen panels giving him navigation instructions. And as Andy mentioned, he's going to be telling him, drift a little bit this direction, set up for the turn, line him up so that he's ready to go as they come up to their turn. Great water conditions. This is going to be a fast day of racing. I expect to see most of these records get beaten. And that's just a perfect ride attitude on that boat. A 42-foot V-bottom. This is a step-bottom boat. It's got twin steps on it. It's based off of the Fountain 42 Lightning. And this boat raced for a number of years under different colors. Probably the most recognized would have been Pier 57. And the first race that Andy had in this boat was actually in Morehead City in 2010, and that was the first year I got back in a boat after retiring and running in the Super V class. As we go back on board with Andy Copeland and Cody Wagner.
Well, we can see his face now, and he looked like he's on it.
Now we move the microphone, so we'll be able to see if he's smiling. Right now, the sensation of speed you have in a canopy is different than an open cockpit boat. But make no mistake, this boat feels, it's light. You're flying over the tops. The shape of the bow on this boat has actually got kind of a convex curve to it, so it creates a little bit of bow lift at the speeds these boats are running.
This is awesome. They've got 1,000 miles on this boat, I think, running these engines.
He actually told me that he did the original testing setting the boat up on an 80-mile lake next to where he lives, and he and his wife put 1,000 miles on the boat running it, breaking it in. So it's definitely got some challenges setting up turbines. It's been done, but you've got so many little things you've got to get going on. And the problem they had in Huntington is they had just one oil line had enough movement in it that it was tapping over the top of an oil sender, and it eventually wore the wire out on the oil sender so that the stainless steel line caused it to short, so they didn't see the oil go away, and it actually put a small hole in the line and leaked all the oil out. So he said it was an 11-hour drive back from the leeward side of Catalina Island to drive back to Long Beach.
Yes.
All right, now we're looking at Patriotic Duty. They're just waiting for their chance to go.
Yeah, I think they're waiting for the helicopter to come up. I just was in contact with Eric Briner from Fast Loud Photography, who will be on board and doing the videography for this team, and also for Ocean Cup, of course. And once he's up, they're going to be taking off. They said they're spooling up right now.
Now, this is going to be neat to see the pictures of that. That boat or that helicopter is decked out to match the Trump 2024 boat. This is a big, fast helicopter. We don't usually see these in offshore. And the nice thing about it, it is actually set up that the photographer is going to be able to go on both sides of the helicopter. Usually, helicopter pilots want you to shoot out of one side, so that's why you see most brochures and boating magazines are almost all shot on the left side of the left side of the boat is the most common side. So the photographer will be out of the right side of the helicopter. So he's going to be able to go from side to side. We're going to have just a lot of great video this weekend.
Yeah, and I was just checking in with the Trump team, and they're getting their Starlink up, and they'll be pushing off momentarily. So, as I mentioned earlier, all of these boats are start at will, and I reassured the Heatwave team, who has to stop and get fuel on the way to the start, that that's not a problem. They can be the last off. It doesn't matter. You start the race when you're ready. Our commitment as Ocean Cup is to get your start time, your finish time, and get you into the record books.
Now, what do we have as far as a window with the Coast Guard time-wise? Is there a time that they have to be off the course? You typically, I'm sure they gave you a time frame that you're good to race from here to here, and racing ends after that.
That would be the normal way with the circuit races. What I submit is an application for the race, and they reply that no permit is needed. So it's rules of the road.
That's outstanding.
Yes.
And that's because we're not setting up buoys. We're not dropping things onto coral reefs to anchor buoys. It really is the way offshore racing used to be. You'd race out to a point, race to the next point, and come back.
Yes.
The circuit racing did a lot for, I think, awareness of the sport. Back in the day when we would have 100 boats average to races, we're actually on board with Roger Norman and Nigel Hook in the Trump 2024 boat as they're firing up the motors, getting ready to close their hatches and pull away. But bringing the racing in close definitely created awareness. When we had a lot of boats racing, it actually was great for the engine manufacturers, great for the boat manufacturers to bring awareness to the consumer for what you can do with these kind of boats and the fun you can have. But it definitely it created challenges for permitting, having been on the production side of those kinds of events. the things you've got to do to get permits just to put your markers out. You've got to have helicopters flying to watch for marine life because we're racing close to shore. Manatees, sea turtles, and dolphins are the primary things we're watching for. So the permitting process is totally different. So I'm thrilled to hear how this all goes. And there's a great view of the number 47, Trump 2024, 52-foot Mystic pulling away.
What a beautiful boat. Hey, I just want to point out, Apache's going 94 miles an hour right now. I can't tell how far offshore they are, but I'm watching the tracking on T3 telemetry. So anybody who wants to see Nigel's gauges when he fires up the data can see it there, and the other boats and the speeds that they're running. So once they hit the cellular limit, they'll fall off, and we'll pick them back up in Grand Bahama.
We didn't get a chance to, my back is to the window, didn't get a chance to see the Apache take off. Again, that is a very historic boat, currently owned by Bobby Latham of Latham Marine. And if that name sounds familiar to anybody in the high-performance universe, Bobby Latham is well known for a lot of the systems that are in the top offshore power boats in the world, actually even pleasure boats. Probably one of the most common things we see on his is Latham steering systems. And when he started developing that stuff when it was just apparent that the stuff you bought off the shelf just wasn't suitable for the kind of abuse that we put on that equipment in an offshore environment. As we go back on board with Super Fountain, Andy Copeland and Cody Wagner, so you can see a little bit of bumping going on there. Now, my advice to Cody at this point is I can see he's actually moving independent of the seat just a little bit, is tighten that seatbelt up. You can see the shock movement of the seats taking the edge off. But you don't want a whole lot of movement in relation to the steering wheel. Again, the water conditions have not gotten any bumpier. The guys were saying yesterday when they got farther offshore, it actually got nice. So it was a little bit bumpy coming in or going out, smoother out, and then was bumpy coming back in. Of course, that was a little bit later in the day as the Trump helicopter just went by us. So they're going to be set.
Yeah, that's the patriotic duty helicopter.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was the patriotic duty helicopter.
Yeah, so we had a Hui set up for the patriotic duty team, and it was green and looked really cool, all Army. And that helicopter had some maintenance going on, so they've switched it out, and we have twin helicopters today. They're amazing, amazing choppers. One is branded with patriotic duty, and the other is branded with Trump.
And now, right now, the Coast Guard is going to probably provide a little bit of assistance. This is rules of the road racing, but there are a lot of boats going out the inlet right now. It is a Saturday here in Palm Beach, so people going out to go fishing and just enjoying the boating lifestyle here in South Florida.
Awesome. So the Apache is approaching the point where they may fall off the tracking, but as I said earlier, we'll pick them up again once they're in Grand Bahama. The chopper's up, and we should be seeing the Apache coming down any moment now. Look at the inlet. Look how beautiful. And we got a nice little crowd down there, and there's a TV crew down there that's with the Trump boat that is doing a live broadcast, I believe. Roar. Oh, look at these guys.
There we can see the Apache speed right now, 90.6 miles an hour.
Yes. And that little line that's part of the Google Earth world, that's typically where they'll freeze. And we may see them freeze right at that point in time. And then when the map moves over and you see the black line over by Grand Bahama, that's where we'll probably pick them up again. And just to reassure everybody, in between, we are tracking them with satellite trackers, which ping every 1 minute. So we will be monitoring this boat in the dead cell zone, if you will, and make sure that they're still moving.
A lot of technology that's been introduced into your series in particular. You've got cell technology that has given you what you see on the bottom half of your screen, and then you've got the satellite technology from Starlink that we're seeing on the top half of the screen. It is incredible, and this is what's going. We didn't have this to bring the fans to the boat like we had to bring them in close to do that. And so that's all line of sight type stuff. The fact that we can now go offshore and run these kind of events and put you in the cockpit, that is cool.
It is amazing. It's going to change the sport. Oh, look at, they're getting some water. Was that ballast tank you said?
That looks like they were taking water, going through some. Nope, they got a problem.
Oh, no. Okay, well,
So that
It's
is,
all gonna
they're
be live
turning and
streamed.
coming off plane right now.
Okay. Oh, Andy.
Couldn't tell what happened there.
No. It looked like they were taking some hits, though, with the water coming up like that. Or was that the ballast tank?
There was too much water coming over the bow. The ballast tank blows out the side, and you
Okay.
usually don't get it like that.
Well, the next step is to get audio
Correct.
so we can find out from them directly what's happening.
Well, maybe if it's possible. I'm not sure if they can actually give us a replay on that. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I am not going to ask for a whole much more because
No.
I'm watching this right here going,
This
these
is
guys
cool.
are
We don't need a
absolutely-
replay.
No, they are absolutely incredible.
Okay, we just got a thumbs up from the Patriotic Duty team. Steve Seaton on the throttles, Tony Adams on the wheel, and then they have Alan Bellinghausen keeping them honest. Alan is a great guy. This is my favorite team. Don't tell Nigel.
No,
But
I'm
Patriotic
going to keep
Duty,
that to myself
yeah.
because that's just going to get you in trouble.
I know, but Patriotic Duty, I'll tell you, these guys are spot on. They are professional. They show up with their binder and all of their information, and they take this seriously.
Well, they've done a nice job. The rigging on that boat looks immaculate.
Yes.
You know, and they, like you said, they take it seriously. When they ran last year from the Golden Gate Bridge to the Queen Mary, so they set 2 records in one run. They beat Bob Nordskog's record to Marina Del Rey.
That's correct.
And then pulled in, and even with that stop, still beat the record going all the way to the Queen Mary. And then they turned around and ran right after that. So they ran all the way from San Francisco down to Long Beach. Then they turned around and did the long run around Catalina and set that record as well. That was a big weekend for those guys.
Oh.
All right, Andy Copeland is now out of the boat. He's walking up to the front. So there is something going on towards the front of the boat.
I see their helicopter circling.
So he's looking up in the front as though maybe something came loose up in the front of the boat. And the way it was pushing water over the front, I'm wondering if maybe a hose for the fill going into the ballast tank. And I'm just totally surmising right now, but it looked like the boat was going really heavy nose down. And right now it actually looks pretty heavy nose down as well. It's breaking water very far forward on the front of the boat, and it's really not that rough. So you got to wonder if they've got water up in the bow of the boat right now.
Is that the life raft or the...
I'm not sure. If that's a life raft, I wonder if they're planning on inflating it up in the bow of the boat.
That could be. That would be a way to keep it afloat, yeah. They've got their helicopter. I saw it circling. So those of you who want to see the gauges on board the Trump boat, T3Lametry.com is live. We can see Nigel's gauges. Nigel Hook and Roger Norman are live. The data is coming through the Starlink system.
Right now,
Okay.
I look out behind me, and here comes Patriotic Duty as they are now just exiting the inlet. Their helicopter in tow. Getting just a little bit bumpy in the inlet, which is typical. That is a nice big 47-foot Outer Limits GTX as we go on board. As he puts the power up on his way out. And do you see his speed on the screen there?
Let's see. Patriotic Duty's at 95.67. They're going to be creeping up on 100 miles an hour here very shortly.
Again, this is a 2004 47 Outer Limits GTX with a twin Mercury Racing QC4V. That's quad cam, 4-valve per cylinder engines, 1100 1350 dual calibrations, M8 drives. The dry weight on this boat is 14,000 pounds and a 700-gallon fuel capacity. As we mentioned, those guys set the record last year in September from San Francisco to Marina Del Rey with a new time of 4 hours and 56 minutes, 33 seconds. The existing mark for the mile run was 5 hours, 57 minutes, and 22 seconds, set by Powerboat Magazine publisher Bob Nordskog, Bob Teague, and Norm Teague of Teague Custom Marine. And that record stood for 35 years. They also set a UIM record for the fastest lap time from San Francisco to Long Beach at 5 hours, 18 minutes, and 39 seconds.
Well, that's pretty. We've got the Archangel 2 up following patriotic duty.
And they're at 105 miles an hour. We've got the helicopter speed also, so we're getting telemetry from the helicopter as well. Now, if you're wondering and you're looking at that aft-facing view, you see that kind of black line. That's the post holding the cameras up. That's just a shadow. Sometimes some of those shadows can look like there's something broken or moving on the boat, but that's just a shadow. Nice, long, heavy boat. V-bottoms, you typically get a pretty nice ride, and the heavier boat just kind of punches through this stuff. Now, a catamaran floats over the top, and my good friend Art Lilly always used to say that, man, once he switched over from a V-bottom to running the catamarans, it's kind of like moving into a magic carpet. And I'm sure Nigel would agree with that, because Nigel and I started racing side-by-side in V-bottoms for years, back in California racing in Popera.
I didn't think he'd ever go to a cat.
Yep, I started in a small tunnel boat, and then once I ended up getting hooked up with fountain power boats, that was it. That's where I've been my career, and just definitely a V-bottom guy. Have driven
Okay,
fast
Nigel
cats,
hooks up to 72 miles an hour. He must be there he goes. He's making his start right now. There goes the Trump helicopter. All right. And Nigel's got his start. I see that green flag down there.
The two of them just look so calm and collected in there. You just got to wonder, are they just listening to tunes in their headset? I mean, they're just completely relaxed.
We got a nice crowd down at the inlet there watching the boats go by. I haven't seen the Apache. Okay, so...
No, the Apache's already out.
Oh, Apache went out?
Yeah, the Apache's out. That's the one that was running 90 miles an hour.
Oh, I missed
Out
it.
the
I
front.
must have been over getting my coffee.
Yeah, you were even talking about them. Yeah, you were reading their numbers off when we lost them going out. So Apache went out. So we're still waiting to see our Class A V-hulls. That's 35 to 40 feet. So that's going to be Raymarine and race-winning brands. So right now, the Trump boat is now running 122 miles an hour.
Yep. Race-winning brands is back into the cell zone. They're moving back probably, I'm sure, at 11 miles an hour back to Sailfish Marina.
Oh, so they had a problem.
All right, look at, here's Roger and Nigel using the Starstream system. So we have the forward camera and one over the shoulder so that you can see what they are looking at on the dashboard. It looks like their speed is 131 miles an hour.
Yeah, they're moving. Just you can just tell what the ride is. You know how calm it is. Look at the ride difference. Now we were looking on board Copeland, and you saw the twitching from side to side. You know the bumps. You feel every single bump because that boat's a little bit lighter than the Apaches. Just look at how smooth and calm that ride is for those guys.
So we're still looking though for heat wave. Is that correct?
Yep. We're looking for heat wave to come out, and we have not seen, haven't seen race-winning brands. Although
Okay.
you said you thought you saw them pulling back in.
They pulled into Sailfish all night helping the heat wave team. They pulled into Sailfish, and I'm assuming they're going to make their start. I don't have a good angle to see down where the milling circle is, but when the helicopter comes back, they'll know that's their time, and they'll queue up. And so let's keep an eye out for that helicopter, and then we'll know they're be on their way. Eric
Well, right.
Briner with Fast Loud Photography's up there covering the event. He'll follow each boat as it goes out, a minute or 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever he's comfortable with, and then he'll turn around and the next boat will start.
Now, as they come, the next set of boats that come out have to get to deal with a cargo ship that is just now coming in the inlet. As we go back on board on our screen here with
Oh, there's the cargo
Patriotic
ship.
Duty boat. Yeah, there's the cargo ship. You know, back in the day when we used to race up in St. Clair, Michigan, they used to let us race when the cargo boats were coming through the inlet there on the St. Clair River. You know, chief referee always used to tell us, look, if you get hit by one of those, the penalty's assessed immediately, and you're going to be about the equivalent of a bug on a windshield.
Okay, look, I see out there, which little start boat is that? Is that Heat
That looks like
Wave?
Heat Wave.
That's Heat Wave, all right.
So Heat Wave is getting ready to go. Now, when does their time actually start, Janet? When they cross where everybody's sitting because they're obviously not on plane right now, so I would imagine their time is not running right this minute?
Correct.
Okay.
Kelly Gunn, official APB8 timer, is out at the jetty, I believe is the right word for it.
Yep.
And there's a line across to a buoy, a Coast Guard buoy, so it's stationary. It's a permanent fixture as far as the UIM concerned, because this is a UIM world record, and they're very specific about what you can and cannot do. So you have to have fixed landmarks, and the jetty and the buoy are considered fixed landmarks. So she's there with the timing, and she'll capture the time when they cross and when they return and cross again.
Looking at the screen right here, it looks like we've lost patriotic duty from their from the cell coverage for the telemetry on the speed, but their last posted speed was 104.5 miles an hour for patriotic duty.
Nice.
And right now the Trump boat is coming up to where that was, so I would expect that we're going to probably lose their telemetry as well. Their current speed's 129.8 miles an hour.
Looks like they're on a different path. I would expect them to pass each other.
Well, they may very well get themselves caught up. I know they were talking about the faster boats were going to keep on the same channel. So they were talking about on a VHF frequency, so they could keep an eye on where each other were. They're not racing against each other for the same record.
What I mean is I kind of thought they'd be on the same heading.
Well, there's really only one way to get there.
I
So
know.
you would think they would be on the same heading. So one of them is a little wide. Not sure which one it is. One's either, or right on course.
Yeah. Yep, but boy, look at that. They're having a good ride today. I mean, this is going to be a fast race if they can hold this together. I got to tell you, Herb Stotler and his team have done a phenomenal job of getting this boat ready and moving forward. He's got his hands full taking care of a Class 1 boat and taking care of this boat. Hey, look at Patriotic Duty. They're having a great run.
It hasn't gotten rougher out there, and we still have the Trump boat, and he's coming up to your mystical black line there. He's doing just at 130 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the helicopter's on its way back, so we should be getting another start here shortly.
You can see the water conditions have not gotten any bumpier. Nice, calm, clear conditions.
Heat waves coming by, according to Truckee. Yep, there they are. They're coming by. They're going to be making their start. So that's Brian Creech and Matt Field. What a great couple of guys those are. They are racers. Field is a professional drifter, which I don't know if you've seen any of those videos, but man, that's a lot of rubber. Look at them go.
Both from California. Again, that's a 1988 36-foot Mirage. Pair of twin Mercury Bulldog 500s built by Grom Racing Engines in San Jose, California. They're making 750 horsepower apiece. Speedmaster number 3s. Dry weight of 12,000 pounds. Fuel capacity of 400 gallons. I remember talking to them at Huntington Beach. That boat was previously owned by Brian's late father. And he got it, and he decided he wanted to bring that boat back to life, and he restored it in 2021 and brought it to Huntington Beach and raced the Rum Run last year. Okay,
Nigel's just hitting into the possible dropout zone. He's moving nicely, 118, 116 miles an hour. It's starting to look a little rougher to me. How about you?
Maybe a little bit.
It's a big boat.
Roger just tightening up his belt just a bit. Nigel said that he really just needs to run 110 mile an hour kind of average speed in order to beat the record. So he's going to run probably as fast as he'll want to go in the calm water so that he can even back down a little bit if it gets bumpier and still get the record. It'd be great for Roger to be able to set that record up his first time in the boat.
I'm sure Jay Johnson is watching. Hello, Jay. Hello, Colleen. Jay and Nigel hold the record right now.
Kind of a little bit bittersweet, and there goes Winning Race Brands.
Winning Race Brands. There we go.
So they're on their way out.
Let's see. We got speeds going at like 60, 65 miles an hour. Look at them. Okay, they made their start.
So that's Bill McComb and Ed Wendt.
They were a last-minute entry.
Yeah, you would call me over. I was actually literally driving and said, hey, we got another entry. Going to get you another set of information. That boat was formerly known as one of the Spider-Man boats. There were two of them. It's a 2023 Skater 40-foot V-bottom. Actually, it says 2023. There's no way that's a 2023 boat.
No.
Like 2013, perhaps. 40-foot Skater. That's a carbon Kevlar boat. Twin Dart 572 800 horsepower motors. M6 Mercury drives run on 1.57 gears. The dry weight on that boat is about 9,000 pounds.
It's a Powerboat P1 RWO official race boat. They're running spec engines for that race. They haven't changed anything out for this event. They want to have the record, the APBA record, in that class for this event.
Nice. And they're getting some seat time as Bill's jumped back into racing. Bill kind of took a hiatus for a while also. Bill entered his first race in Key West in 1989. And it was his first race, and it was Don Johnson and Chuck Norris's last race. And although Bill really likes to think he started racing at about 8 years old, driving through 20-foot swells out of the Massaquan Inlet, Bill went on to win 11 World Championships in Key West for sponsors such as General Motors, Hawaiian Tropic, Rockstar, and Patron. He got back into the sport in 2023 with a win in St. Petersburg. And he joined Ed Wendt to run the race boat. So he's planning on running the entire season this year on the APBA Pro Series.
So it looks like the telemetry system on Nigel's boat has dropped down. We don't have that data, so anybody watching the data should just jump over to the map and the live stream that's on Ocean Cup YouTube channel.
Well, if we were to zoom in, we could probably see it right on the GPS. Nice, clean shots.
He's good. Oh, I just beat on 116 when it fell out, so he's in the no cell zone. We should see Patriotic Duty pick back up. Race Winning Brands is looking good. They're 98 miles an hour right now.
Back on board Patriotic Duty.
I don't think the Apache made the start. I think when I was talking earlier, it was Outer Limits. I haven't seen Apache make the start yet.
But the Outer Limits is this boat.
Right.
Apache was marked on the screen.
I don't have them on the tracking.
That's because they're out of the range. They were running at 98 miles an hour. I thought it said right on the screen.
I think that was Patriotic Duty. I'm sorry for the confusion.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, well, I hope they're out there.
It was a yellow mark.
Awesome.
So we'll see when they come back on, but I think those guys were running.
I hope so. I mean, that would be a shame. So we got Ray Marine coming back in. We have Heat Wave off. We have Race Winning off. Outer Limits is off. Trump is off.
Be interested if we get some word from Race Control. What happened to Ray Marine? If are they under tow? Or are they taking on water? Frustrating. Those guys were really looking forward to getting out on board with Roger Norman and Nigel Hook. That might be a good time to talk with Fran. I had a chance yesterday to talk with Fran Muncie. That is Roger's mom.
You got a chance. You managed the Unlimited Hydroplane team.
I owned it and managed it.
So after Bill, you continued running it.
Yes. Atlas Sunwise was the sponsor, and Chip Hanauer was the driver.
Right.
And then we got Miller Brewing Company, and then Circus. So we had 3 sponsors in 7 years, and we won 7 straight Gold Cups.
That's the longest running perpetual trophy in motorsports.
Yes.
That's a big deal. And Chip Hanauer is one of the first guys I got to meet. I got sucked into the marine industry by Art Carlson, and he and Chip were good friends, so I got a chance to spend some time with Chip before I got into offshore.
Oh.
So what's it like watching Roger go out and do this? I mean, the cars are one thing, but now he's on the water.
I'm so proud of him. He never says no. He just wants to race. So, first time. So this will be the first time I've watched him. But I'm just so proud of him. He just likes speed, and he's good.
I've always felt that the guys that are good on like Supercross and off-road
Yes.
do well in offshore because they're used to running on a surface that's inconsistent,
That's
that's
right.
airtime, all those other kinds of things.
That's right. I think they'll win or break that record, I hope.
I think so too.
So what I know as far as Don Arno, every time we came to race in Miami, Bill, my late husband, would go to his home, but Bill, before that, Bill got the first Donzi brought to the United States, and Don Arno made that happen. And then he's the one that came out with the cigarette hulls, the first one, all designed after that Donzi.
Now, when you guys were running the inlet hydroplanes, you were there before they went to turbines also, right? So
Yes,
you guys were there for the transition from...
Yes. And so Chip Hanauer and I were the first turbine boat to win the Gold Cup.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching Roger run tomorrow, and it's such a pleasure meeting you and somebody who's been around the industry a long time. I now qualify as one of the old-timers myself, so I get a chance to look back and go, I remember a lot of those guys. So.
Oh, and then Bob Nordskog.
Yep.
Bill used to race with him, and Parker 9-hour Enduro, we went there. And that was the boat that had two sponsons, and Nordskog was in one, and Bill Muncie in the other, and they went down the river. That was amazing.
So, and then his son Jerry was involved with him through Powerboat Magazine.
Yes.
And if you get a chance to make it out to the Huntington Beach race, his grandson Eric is the one that does the commentary with us.
Oh my gosh!
So
that'll be great.
We all have a good time just sitting there talking about the old days.
Well, this is the class act of APBA boat racing.
It is, and as Freddie Kiefer said when we were in Huntington Beach together, he says, we're putting the offshore back in offshore.
Yeah.
This is the real deal.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Nice to meet you, too.
Nice to meet you, too.
Yep, she was inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame, and just was an amazing woman to talk to. We actually talked about a lot of other things, a lot of background noise in the background as we were down at the party yesterday at Sailfish Marina. But wow, just such a wealth of experience, and her late husband, was just an incredible figure in powerboat racing with their unlimited hydroplane team that was just the dominant force. So it looks like it's gotten a little bit bumpier out there. We can see on Patriotic Duty that aft-facing shot when they're coming out of the water, so they are getting a little bit of air out there. See, really in the catamaran, you see a total difference in how the boats run. Just, it's a very smooth ride as we're on board with Roger Norman and Nigel Hook. And there's that aft-facing view again on Patriotic Duty. So they're just, basically the hull is coming out of the water, but the props really aren't coming out, so it's not that rough. But, when you hit a bump at 100 miles an hour in one of these boats, even at that weight, I mean, they're traveling, a good half a football field sometimes in the air before they come back down, depending on their speed, of course. And there's that forward-looking view. So you can tell it's getting a little bit bumpier. But it's not bad. I don't see a giant swell, which is what we typically see in the Pacific. So just a little bit of chop. It looks like they're still a little bit on a quarter, not really going head on into them.
What a beautiful day.
Yeah, we couldn't have asked for a better day weather-wise. It's warm out there. I mean, opened the window up this morning, looking out over the water. It's like, it's gorgeous, but it's already warm. When Nigel was talking down on the dock, said, man, we're already sweating down here. And, once you get in the boat, the game kind of changes. Now, some of the canopy boats, we actually had air conditioning in them, which kind of made it nice on these hot days racing in Florida or racing in the Bahamas. Open cockpit boat, don't have so much of that, but you don't really get a lot of wind in your face to cool your head off because you're in those helmets. Main thing is these guys are all sitting below a deck also, so that, even if this V-bottom does punch through a wave in this open cockpit boat, that water's going to go over the top of them and not hit them square in the face.
I'm still looking forward to seeing these boats pick up in Grand Bahama to see where we're at with them. Race Winning Brands is entering the area where they might drop they may have just dropped at 99 miles an hour, so they're having a nice run today too.
Now, do we have a time of when they actually left? I actually had my stopwatch set here, and I didn't push the button just to see how far we're in, so we can kind of get a track on what it looks like in terms of the records. Maybe just on the Trump boat, so we can kind of see that's one that we're looking to see that they're looking to break their previous record.
I just got a message that the helicopters flying low are blowing water into the boats. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're working on the Starlinks on the helicopters to see if we can get that stream going again. They lost it. They had it working at the airport this morning. Both helicopters were up and running, and then for some reason they dropped the link, and so we're not sure if it's a cable. It's hard to do. They're under flight now, so they're working to get that resolved. That's the update there. I have an update from Jay Johnson. He says, Jess, I'm listening and watching. I'm sure he's super excited to see Nigel running with Roger and running so well. I know that boat is near and dear to Jay's heart. Jay, I wish you were here, man. There they are, Roger and Nigel Hook on board Trump 2024.
I want to add my hey to Jay. Jay and I, we did some side-by-side racing, Jay. That was back in the Scarab versus Fountain days.
That's right. That's right. So that was back in the 90s, I think, right?
Yep.
But Nigel and Roger look pretty comfortable there. You can see the focus. They're getting bounced around a little bit, but that's a pretty good ride for them.
Well, let's give a shout out to some of the people that are helping make this event happen. Sailfish Marina, which is where everything left from today. The Sailfish Marina Resort is a tropical vacation paradise with old Florida charm, home to a world-famous fleet of luxury sport fishing yachts and water taxis that'll take you cruising through the Palm Beaches. Also join the Sunset Celebration every Thursday along the seawall and dine in the fabulous waterfront restaurant. Other amenities include full-service marina, ship store, and a gift shop, and numerous waterway activities. Also, we have the Sea Cadets. The United States Naval Sea Cadet Corps is the Navy's youth development program. They give young Americans skills, knowledge, and confidence through an amazing variety of training opportunities. The Sea Cadets wear uniforms, work as teams in a disciplined environments, and adhere to our core values of honor, respect, commitment, and service. Looking at the inlet right there on our start-finish line. And, of course, the Apache, looking forward to seeing where they're at on there as we go back on board patriotic duty. Apache Power Boats is a premier high-performance offshore boat manufacturer led by Mark McManus, a respected master with over 50 years of experience in designing and building boats. Apache boats are known for their quality craftsmanship and exceptional performance in the most adverse sea conditions. Each boat is built using ballistic-grade Kevlar and 100% carbon fiber in marine lamination, along with hand-laid laminates and military-grade resins. Their boats are designed for customization to suit the client's every want and need, from powertrain to navigation systems and interior upgrades. They offer a wide range of services including maintenance, repair, restoration, and custom manufacturing. Their boats are built to exceed the highest standards of U.S. and European Coast Guard requirements, with safety and stability as primary concerns. On board patriotic duty, it looks like it's settled down just a little bit as they're getting closer to Grand Bahama.
We're on board with Trump right here.
And now we're back on with Trump. We're looking forward to possibly Trump being here, but he's actually in California campaigning. So I think he was in San Francisco on Thursday, and I believe he's in Newport Beach this afternoon.
That's correct. He's at Palmer Lucky's house, having a fundraiser. Well received in California this year. So Nigel's well on pace, I believe, record.
Yeah, a little. It definitely looks like it's calmed down a little bit. They went through a rough patch. And there's still some bumps. Nice ride, though. You see, they've got a great attitude on the boat. The boat's not going nose up. It's just carrying a nice level. Let the boat physics do its job going through the waves.
Tony Adams, Steve Seaton, and Alan Bellinghausen. That is an A-plus team. Well prepared, and they're having a great run today. I know they were bitterly disappointed last year because to bring a boat out from San Francisco and then take it back, and now they're here again, and they're gamers, I'll tell you.
I think they'd like to add, a speed record in every one of the events that you all hold. So that's kind of their target, and they're on track to do that. They made up for it after Palm Beach last year, heading to California
Yes.
and killing it.
Yes.
Setting 3 records in
Yeah.
1-2 week period.
So don't tell anybody, okay?
No, I'm not going to tell anybody.
They want to do Cuba next year.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you didn't want me to tell them that they were your favorite team.
Oh, no, I'm giving you all sorts of secrets.
Yeah.
So we're back on board with Roger Norman and Nigel Hook. I'm still waiting for the trackers to pick up at West End. They should be getting there pretty quick at these speeds. It looks like they still are on pace. And we should be seeing the Fountain pick back up on their return.
See if we can get some feedback just to confirm that the Apache was out there.
Yes, I did. I called Christy Clark and Kelly Gunn, who are manning the docks for us today, and all the boats did leave. So
Okay.
you are right.
So
I was wrong.
They were out there. Okay, I thought I
Yes.
saw it.
Yeah.
Because we were rattling off their speeds.
Yes. Ray Marine. I'm waiting for them to pick back up in the tracking to see when they're still in the no-sell zone. I'm turning on. I'm going to check with the satellite trackers to see where Ray Marine is. Copy.
You can just tell the nice ride these guys have in this cat. You get a chance to see the difference between this boat running and the Patriotic Duty boat running. Both big, long boats, but the difference between a V-bottom and a cat and how they run in these water conditions. And again, I don't think anybody would have expected the water conditions to be as nice as they are right now. And it looks like we've got the speed back up on the Trump boat.
Yep, they're heading into Grand Bahama. We got a 101-mile blip. They're not probably in a solid cell connection, but we should be seeing that stabilize. And that would mean I would think Patriotic Duty should be shortly behind them. So one of the blips was the nano trackers. That's what I'm looking at there. So the satellite trackers.
So they slowed down just a little bit, but they had big speeds going out, and it's all about your average speed. So they're going to pick their places that they can run and let the boat go. Yeah, it looked like there was a little bit of a bump there. Got some air. It locked up just a second in our image.
So we're here with Joseph, who's electricians on the Trump boat, and Herb Stotler, the crew chief, and of course, our voice, Martin Sanborn. So we're really happy. We're here at the beautiful Marriott Ocean Point Resort. We have a fantastic view of the inlet, and it's really quiet in here, so it's hard to know when the boats are going by. But we've got we're in the front row.
We are in the front row. And the way that they're bringing this to y'all on the screen is absolutely outstanding. And to know that this is what we have to look forward to for the Ocean Cup Series races moving forward, this is going to be great. Next one up is going to be Miami to Bimini.
Yes.
And then after that, it's back out to California for the Pacific, in conjunction with the Pacific Air Show.
That's correct.
Now, are they going to run another run from the Bay Area down?
They're going to let somebody try to beat them first.
Okay.
That's a big record. That's a hard one.
It's one that lasted for 35 years. So.
Yes, it did. And Nigel tried to break it. Took him 10 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. That was actually my first Ocean Cup.
Okay.
Was doing that from Nigel wanted to break that record. And that was my first event into doing these Ocean Cups. The second one was the Cuba run in 2017.
Right. I remember when you did that as well.
Yes. And then we moved on to Trinidad and Tobago. And we did the Great Race and came in second behind the Modal Monster team. Hey, Trinidad, if you're watching, we'll be back. Don't worry. Nigel has unfinished business in Trinidad.
Now, what about taking the boat over and running Cowles?
Yes,
Cal's
I'd love.
Torquay.
Yeah, I want to take the Silverhook over there. That's they love the V-Hauls over in Europe.
Yep.
And I'd love to do the Taos Torquay cows. I want to do around Malta, and we've got that Venice to Monte Carlo record that is sitting out there. So.
Well, I got an affinity for Malta. When we were down in Malta for the P1 race, that was absolutely spectacular.
Yes.
So, and I actually got to go out and run one of the boats when we were out there playing. It was great.
Yes.
Loved it down there.
Well, do we have any speeds back yet? Yep, they picked up again. They're still not in solid cellular connection, so thank you. Yeah, they're at 86 right now. Patriotic Duty got a blip, so they've made it into the cell area. They just don't have it. Okay, here we go. Nigel's got 85 miles an hour. He's got a solid cellular connection. Patriotic Duty, they must have just passed them. Oh, I don't know why we don't have the helicopter.
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely gotten a little bit rougher as they're getting closer to Grand Bahama. Because they've slowed down the speed. The Trump boat's now running 75 miles an hour or so. Yep, you can see they're getting some air. Nigel's talking to Roger. Nigel Hook on the right side of your screen. Roger on the left side of the screen. Actually, in the left picture, if you're looking at the right picture. Roger's the one with his hands on the steering wheel. I was kind of I was focused on one screen. People are going, well, no, I'm looking at the other screen. The guy on the right is Roger.
Again, this is the Starstream technology, and this is live video via the Starlink satellite system.
I'm going to love talking to Roger Norman after this race and see what he thought about, going out and doing this for an hour and a half after running Baja.
I see a helicopter, so they're out there. That must be the chopper I don't have a tracker on. It should pick up. The other choppers should get in the cell zone. It may be sticking with the Patriotic Duty boat. Wow.
Yeah, they stepped it up to 82 miles an hour. Now remember, they have got to average, they've got to beat an average speed of 102.31 miles an hour to break their record from last year.
The Apache shouldn't be far behind. We should see them pop up soon too.
We want to welcome you to Rolls-Royce Motor Cars Palm Beach website as well. A fast and convenient way to research and find a vehicle that's right for you. Whether you're looking for a new or used Rolls-Royce car, truck, or SUV, you'll find it here. We have helped many customers in and near West Palm Beach, Boynton Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Orlando, and Manaplan, Jupiter Island, North Palm Beach, Highland Beach, Hobie Sounds, Seawalls Point, Stewart, Wellington, Palm Beach Gardens. The list goes on all through Central and South Florida, North Florida. Since our formation in 1997, we've grown to become a leading provider of fully integrated end-to-end global satellite. Oh, they skipped down on the separate thing. That is for SD Communications.
Oh, look at we got some helicopter footage.
There we go.
Good job, guys, getting that working on the fly, so to speak.
No pun intended.
Look at that beautiful boat. Lauren Leibel, Bobby Latham, and I have trouble with his name. He's the mechanic that works at TNT and takes care of this boat and repowered it and put on the drives.
Lauren and Bobby competed in last year's Gateway Marathon with a time of 1 hour and 37 minutes. Lauren said having Bobby Latham in a boat is like having A.J. Foyt come back into racing. He's just so much fun, and his knowledge of the sport's invaluable. Lauren said that he considers Ocean Cup races a tribute to Apache boats, a tribute to their heritage. The only reason he switched to number 6 drives is because he's loving the Ocean Cup series and plans to do more and doesn't want to keep having to replace the number 3 drives.
Wow, look, they look great. Their ride looks pretty good.
It does. Apache is known, they're almost like, I kind of equate them to a Stradivarius. All of the Apaches have a name, and the people that follow them know them. And Gail Pyack was the original graphic designer for Apache Powerboats, and he pioneered what Lauren called banner art paint jobs, which included wild, crazy abstract graphics utilizing the boat name and logo on the sides like billboards. You very rarely see an Apache with straight lines or stripes because of Gail. They're still good friends to this day, and you see the ones that have just oh, we're switching over to another view, but this is great to see the Apache running. Bobby Latham is on the throttles. He's on the left side of the boat. The driver is in the center. That's Lauren Leibel. And Yavuz is on the right side of the boat.
Last year, Ryan Beckley was in that seat, navigating for the team. And this weekend, he's in Ocean City. So we miss you, Ryan. I hope you're having a good week and a good run coming up tomorrow.
Ryan is one of those guys that is just steadfast. At every single race he's there.
Oh, that's not beautiful. Wow.
So that was our Apache number 69.
So Patriotic Duties pop back up. They're going 78. Hey, they're pacing Nigel. They're on pace. Look at that.
Yeah, be interested to see what the gap is if the two of them get close together.
Yeah, maybe
like
Nigel's having a little bit of a trouble there, huh?
Maybe getting a little bumpy. He may also know where he's at. Nigel's pretty sharp, so I'm sure he's keeping track of his speed and where he is relative to last year's run. So Patriotic Duty probably has them in sight.
I would agree. See that rooster tail? I don't know if Nigel knows there's somebody coming up on him.
Yeah, if he's got somebody listening to us, maybe they'll tell him.
Isn't this amazing? This is so amazing.
So we'll see. That they've been out, so they know what the conditions were going out.
Oh, there's the helicopter.
It's going to be fairly close conditions going back, so they may also know that, look, we can run this speed here, protect the equipment. On the way back, we know that this is where we can open it up to 130, 140 if we need to, just so they can get that number and come in under that hour and 15 minutes.
I feel like Roger's looking in his rearview mirror. He's a competitor. They did that Baja 500 and last weekend, and he drove 300 of the miles. And Nigel jumped in at the end there, and I said, "What'd you do? Draw the short straw?" Because he had to run it at night.
Yeah. Don't know how those guys do that. Yeah, my former driver Todd Welling jumped in and went to running trucks, and just, really impressive stuff going from off-road or offshore to off-road, and he loved it.
Okay, they're heading towards the 79th meridian. I don't have a distance, but they need to cross the line that's on the Yachtbot map here and make their turn. All the teams are supposed to be turning anti-clockwise, as Nigel would say, counterclockwise for the Americans.
So they just have to cross that line anywhere along the Bahama?
Yes, anywhere. They just break that line. That's their mark.
Turn around and come back.
And turn around and come back. There are courtesy boats out there. Hello, Jamie, if you're listening. Hello, Jamie Rose. He's the promoter over in the Bahamas. The first two events we did where we went over from Palm Beach all the way to Freeport and spent the night, and then we had fun runs back. Last year was the first year we did the break the meridian and come back to Palm Beach. So this is the second time we've done this particular race course, which is a UIM approved world speed record course.
So is that black line right there coming up on the bottom half of everybody's screen, is that the meridian?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right.
Okay, time to make
we should see them get ready to make a turn and head back, so we are officially halfway.
Yes, for Nigel and the Trump boat, Roger, they're going to turn left. I told them if they hit the land, they'd gone too far.
That's right.
Okay, it looks like he's starting his turn. Patriotic Duty's running great. They're going 87 miles an hour. Looking good.
So watching Norman make that turn. Slowed down to 65 miles an hour.
Well, I just got a text message from a fan. Hello, Tian. Nestor's wife. They work with Roger on the race team and good friends with them, and they're watching the live stream and say hi. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, now that we've got 2 of our boats at the halfway point, we'll wait and see if we can get a pop-up on the screen of the other boats that are out there, see how far away they are. I mean, it looks like they were, running at the top speeds that the Patriotic Duty and Trump boat were running. They were running well over 100 miles an hour. The other boats were running, probably 15, 20 miles an hour at minimum, less than that on average. So they're going to be a little bit behind. But Patriotic Duty is now coming up to the meridian, so they're going to get ready to make their.
They're
over. Slowing down to about 69 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour.
No need to assess a penalty for these guys. They've made it over the line.
There we go.
And they made their anti-clockwise turn, and they're on their way back.
So we're still waiting to see race-winning brands, Heat Wave, Ray Marine. Actually, Ray Marine, we're waiting to hear from them. And the Apache to see they pop back up on our screen so we can get the telemetry from them. There we see Patriotic Duty has made their turn at the meridian, and they are now on their way back. As we go on board Trump with Roger Norman and Nigel Hook. Now, it looks like Trump is a little farther south. Yeah, Trump looks like they're a little farther south. Patriotic Duty now swinging back towards the same course. So now if all they had to do was cross the meridian, I guess they pick the point that they want to aim for at the island. But there's only one entrance back in here to West Palm Beach. So everybody should be coming to the same point right there. So Nigel's now approaching 90 miles an hour. Patriotic Duty at 71. Trump has dropped back down to the high 70s. See, it's a little bit bumpier. Be interesting to see when they get a little closer here as we look out from our vantage point here at the Marriott. It looks pretty nice. So hopefully it'll be able for them to step the speeds up as they get closer back to the coast. We also want to thank SD Land and Mobile. Since our formation in 1997, we've grown to become a leading provider of fully integrated end-to-end global satellite communication solutions, customized to meet the unique requirements of our business, aviation, government, land mobile, and marine customers. Like most entrepreneurial companies, we started by trying to solve a single problem: how to call an aircraft in flight on its own unique number, regardless of location. The solution we created, Global One Number, is still in use today on over 7,000 aircraft. And 25 years later, that culture of problem solving and innovation is still what drives us today, to deliver secure, reliable access to the networks, applications, and data that are critical to your business, your mission, or next adventure, wherever it happens. Also, Global Survival Solutions is a company that focuses on providing safety and preparedness through research, innovation, management, scientific, and technical consulting for emergency response communications. Global Survival Solutions' main emphasis is on providing solutions that enable our customers to communicate and deliver mission-critical data, logistics, and life-saving information. Our solutions include portable satellite-based systems that are simple to deploy and manage. We provide compact communications, including solutions that are backpackable into extreme locations when the need arises. Carry-on size aggregated satellite and cell connectivity systems, satellite video streaming with minimal latency that can fit into your luggage. A lot of technical words there to read in one reading.
Indeed. So I just got an update from Jamie Rose, who's out over at the West End 79th Meridian. He's sending some photos through and some video through, and he's going to post boats go by.
Outstanding. All right, so Patriotic Duty is kind of turning to get on the same line. Looks like they're going to, kind of fall in right behind Trump.
But Trump is out front right now, running just about 75 miles an hour, 76 miles an hour. You can see it's a little bit bumpier than it was on the way out. You can see some of those little hits. Nice thing about a catamaran is it traps that air, so they're riding on that cushion of air. Hard to tell
the distance.
I don't know what the scale is, how far behind.
So the trail is 30 seconds long.
Okay.
I can make.
So it looks like they're a minute and a quarter behind, maybe.
Yeah, and the dots are 20. There's 4 dots a second.
Okay.
So 30-second trail, and the dots are 4 to a second.
Okay, so they're about a minute behind. So a minute and a half behind. So if you'd look at that, maybe they're, a mile and a quarter, thereabouts.
I can probably see the rooster tail. I'm anxious to see the Apache come. It should be coming through into West End soon.
Yep, we should start getting their data anyway.
That's correct. They're tracking.
So same with Race Ring Brands and Heat Wave. Would love to hear from Race Control or somebody as to how the Raymarine guys are doing.
Yeah, Kelly Gunn is just checking in on them with Race Control, so she'll keep us posted.
Roger Norman and Nigel Hook and Trump 2024. As I mentioned, I love that number 47. Hopefully we make that happen in November.
I got the helicopter being tracked. It just popped up at 160 miles an hour. So they're probably going to catch up with somebody. So hopefully we'll get some more streaming from the helicopter. That would be Eric Briner, Fast Loud Photography on board. And they're the rover, so they're going to be flying around back and forth across the Straits of Florida, covering boats as they pick them up, and then they'll race to the finish line to get the boats finishing also. So I like that I see them still moving. That's a good thing. The helicopters gives me a warm feeling about Raymarine and that they're just heading back as best they can.
Well, hopefully we'll see them coming back into the marina here and get a chance to talk with Andy afterwards and see if we can get a report on what happened. Want to thank Al Packer Ford. Al Packer Ford West Palm Beach is serving the Palm Beach Gardens, North Palm Beach, and is the new Ford dealership with pre-owned cars, auto loans, Ford service and parts. As a proud member of the West Palm Beach business community, we've established ourselves with a reputation that's rooted in honest selling and premier customer service by every member of our team. To provide prospective buyers with a focused vehicle purchase experience, we offer specialized departments for new and pre-owned sales, finance, and internet, along with specific service branches for your vehicle's needs. It looks like they've got a fairly consistent ride, Janet. They're little bit of bumps, but you can see that the one angle that's very low on the right-hand side of your screen, the pilot's perspective, you can see how close the horizon is to the bottom side of that screen, and it is not moving much. So that just tells me that the boat is going to, while it may be getting jostled from side to side as it hits bumps, it's not doing any nose-up stuff, which would lead you to believe you're not looking at a bunch of big rollers or big bumps that they're hitting. It's more a matter of just kind of rocking over the slop, if you will,
Sure.
that's out there.
And it's a little surprising to me to see Nigel at 65 miles an hour and a V-Haul at 75 miles an hour.
Well, they don't seem to be stressed or talking about anything that would lead you to believe there's a problem.
Correct. We just lost a camera on board.
Yeah, something's loose in front of them.
I'm sure that's distracting. Yeah, this is be interesting.
Okay, so is that one of the helicopters that just popped back up?
It did at 160, but it's in kind of a bad cell zone, so it's not stabilized yet.
Okay, so these guys are actually getting ready to lose. All right, there we go. Now we've got an airborne shot of patriotic duty.
Look at that.
Tony Adams, Steve Seaton.
That's not flat. That's not flat.
But but it's not
bad. That looks like, we see that kind of water in bays, comparatively speaking. And
Yeah,
that boat
well,
is
it's
not,
easy from here.
Yeah, that boat's not airing out. We're not seeing that boat flying through the air. Now, does that mean that you set a drink on the dashboard? No.
No.
But, you just look at how they're riding. I love the attitude of the boat, where the boat's breaking water. There you saw them punch through one. When it blows that water out to the side and is breaking, around the number, right ahead of where the word duty is. If it's breaking there, that's a bump. And there are a few holes, but it doesn't look terrible. So over the top of Patriotic Duty.
They just put a new wrap on that boat this year, and it's really beautiful. And they've got the helicopter with Patriotic Duty on the sides too. So.
Yep, looks great.
The guys up in Melbourne, the graphics guys, did a great job getting that set up.
So these guys only have to beat an hour 37. 1 hour 37 minutes that was set by Apache last year. So if we get an update on time.
Working on it.
And Patriotic Duty running about 78 miles an hour right now. See, what makes this nice water from the standpoint of running at the speeds they're running is the chop is close enough together. If you had bumps like this where it's really calm in between, you're more likely to want to see some air. These guys are just skipping across the tops. There was a little bit bigger bump.
We should.
That they just punched through.
They should be coming up on the Trump boat soon.
So see we lost the telemetry on the Trump boat, so they are in that no cell zone. Notice this helicopter pulled away a little bit. You had mentioned that the guys were saying that they were getting sprayed from the helicopters. That was always something that you get really good shots that way, but it's drivers, and it also starts to mess with the airflow over the boat. As we go back on board with Roger Norman and Nigel Hook in Trump 2024. And all I can say for all of that is you all need to get out and vote. This is important this year. It is important. Without getting too political, it just makes me laugh when they tell us that the Constitution is at risk. You're darn right it is, because they keep abusing it. So get out and vote.
So Kelly's going to be sending us the times. Just
okay. We're gonna get some times. Right now we're fixing one of the headsets, so it's muted for Janet as we're looking out from the pilot's perspective on Trump 2024. Now it looks like it's calmed down a little bit. Still a little bit of bumps, but you're not losing any side of the horizon. Nigel's got the thing trimmed beautifully. Now Patriotic, as I look at where we dropped off, they both kind of dropped off at about the same pace. But we actually have some footage of some historical footage of these kinds of races, and just give you a little bit of perspective. Let's put some of that up on the screen, and we'll show you what the old school stuff looked like compared to the technology we have today.
This is West Palm Beach, my home. One reason I got up so early this morning was to go down to Pier 2 and watch those big boats making their final tune-ups for the Gateway Marathon. 40 or 50 of the world's fastest ocean-going racing craft getting ready to move into starting position and battle it out. This race gets bigger and better every year. Well, they're off to a mighty good start. On their way to churn up 90 miles of blue Atlantic between here and Grand Bahama Island, and then back again the next day. It's a great sport, and it takes a lot of courage to be an ocean race driver. The going can get plenty rough, and the boats and the crews take a real pounding.
All right, we've got a great aerial shot now, the Trump 2024 boat. What a difference in how you see the technology of yesterday compared to the technology of today.
Indeed.
You know, we laughed at, a fast offshore boat back then was 65 to 70 miles an hour. That was a fast boat. It really wasn't that long ago that we broke 100 in offshore boats. And today, the boat you're looking at right now is capable of running over 200 miles an hour depending on power configuration. So the technology has just leapfrogged. The skill sets have leapfrogged. And they were talking that they raced to Grand Bahama, stayed overnight, and came back. These guys are going to be there and back just over an hour. Now, we should be getting a speed here pretty quick on Trump. As we see the Trump that's not the Trump helicopter in the background. That looks like the
Patriotic
Duty helicopter in the background. Oh, it looks like on the screen he's saying that is the Trump helicopter.
That's so
We're getting
awesome.
shot from the Patriotic Duty helicopter.
Copy that. That is beautiful, isn't it?
That is outstanding. Smile for the cameras, guys.
So I do have an unofficial start time for the Trump boat was 9:22:41, and the unofficial start time for Patriotic Duty was 9:19:55. So those of you at home that want to do math, those are the unofficial start times.
All right, so we are a little under an hour right now. So we'll see how fast these guys are able to pump it up. They've got to make it back here in less than 15 minutes, or around 15 minutes or so. 15,
Look at that
18
shot. Wow. Starstream, kudos. This is awesome. How's the boat look, Herb? Running good? Okay, we got Herb Stotler here, crew chief for Nigel and Roger, the Trump 47 boat. I should say 47, Trump 2024 boat. He's watching it with us here in the studio, and he's nodding his head. He thinks Nigel's running that boat pretty well right now.
He's just watching to make sure his motors are doing their job, keeping everything happy.
As he should.
Yep, you can see the water conditions right now. I'm looking forward to seeing if they get to where the water calms down, where he can really open this thing up. These kind of conditions, he can definitely step up to where he wants to be. I got to believe he's got a stopwatch in that boat. He knows how far away he is from getting back here. We've got the Apaches pop back up on the screen in terms of speed. So they're now at 46 miles an hour.
It looks like they're heading west, which is not the direction they want to be going. They may have had a problem and had to
stop or turn around early.
I'm not sure, but I don't think they're ahead of Trump in Patriotic Duty.
I don't think so. Nope.
So it looks like a Apache may be heading back to the Sailfish Marina. Look at this shot. Wow.
Looking forward to getting the speeds on the Trump 2024 boat.
Yeah, they're out there in the middle of the straits. And patriotic duty. Maybe they'll slow down a little so we can do a little photo op here.
I wouldn't count on Nigel slowing down
I just
right
got
now.
hit
If
by the
they-
crew chief.
If they've got the record in sight, they are not going to slow down for a photo op. We had our photo op. We have the Trump helicopter in the background and the Trump boat right there. But you look at the determination on those guys. They're just focused.
Yep. They look comfortable.
Not a lot of chit-chat going on. They're just running. Now we look at our big screen there. So the Apache's definitely closer to shore, so they must have had to turn around before they got to Grand Bahama. We did get some good shots of them running, but something happened on that triple-engine Apache. And it looks like patriotic duty, I mean, in terms of our chart there, is pretty close. They're running about 70 miles an hour on the last blip. But we're not getting live data on them yet, so they're outside of cell range. Special thanks to the Palm Beach County Sports Commission. The Palm Beach County Sports Commission attracts sporting events and activities to Palm Beach County to enhance occupancy of their hotel nights, to maximize the positive economic impact of these events and activities on the Palm Beach County economy, to maximize the utilization of county facilities, to utilize events and activities to promote the image of Palm Beach County as a sports tourism destination on a national and international level. Each year, the events we support are responsible for nearly 1 million sports visitors to Palm Beach County, sleeping in our hotels, utilizing our facilities, and enjoying our attractions and eating in our restaurants, which I've got a chance to do. I love coming up here. Some of my favorite restaurants are up here. I've got a chance to enjoy that. I'm going to make sure I get one more good meal before I head back down to Fort Lauderdale. Here we have a view of that is patriotic duty coming under the helicopter.
What a shot. I'm sure these guys are having a blast. The boat's running good. It looks like a good ride. I tell you, a solid team.
Yep. And it's definitely a little choppier than it looked like going out, which you would expect it to get a little bumpier as the day goes on.
I want to give a shout out to Jillian at the Palm Beach Sports Commission because she's been great. She and Kelly Gunn have been working together. Jillian Constable, thank you so much for your support.
We can't do it without the support of the communities, and I mean, it's so nice the way these events get put together, and we get to deal with fewer government entities that are focused on the success of the event as opposed to checking a bunch of boxes sometimes, and these people are all over it.
We also have a liquor sponsor, Muscle Vodka. It's gluten-free. It's the purest vodka you can get. They're doing it along the lines of some of the other brands where they're getting very health conscious. And Grace and her husband are just amazing. And the liquor that they've supplied, and the support they've supplied has been really great.
Oh yeah, they didn't print the rest of my stuff here, so I'm missing a couple.
Yeah.
Yep, and so that's produced and bottled in Stuart, Florida, at the Musclecraft Distillery, developed by personal trainer and fitness competitor Grace for those who are on a strict fitness program. It's gluten-free, charcoal-filtered, reverse osmosis for purity, only 2 ingredients, corn and water, and made in the U.S.
Yeah, here we go. Let's look at this patriotic duty boat flying along there. Wow, what a ride these guys are having. Looks really solid.
Yeah, it looks like they've stepped up their speed a little bit
It
also.
does. Yes, it does.
So as soon as they get back into cell range, we'll have the telemetry so we can see what the speeds are. That's Tony Adams, Steve Seaton, and Alan Bellinghausen.
So when they re-rigged that boat for the run, they added a huge fuel tank, and that's basically what Alan's seat is sitting on. So they've got a lot of fuel they can carry. In this run, they're not carrying that much.
Well, I like where they put the fuel tank. That's pretty much right over the top of the center of gravity.
Exactly right.
So that's nice. Another big event that happens in this area is Supercar Week. Supercar Week is a 9-day auto enthusiast mecca held throughout the Palm Beach County each January, and it culminates at the grand finale on the West Palm Beach waterfront. The second Sunday of the month, 11 to 5, Supercar Week includes a special supercar horsepower vehicle exhibition at the International Polo Club Palm Beach in Wellington, and events throughout Palm Beach County in Boca, Delray, Palm Beach Gardens, Jupiter, Palm Beach Island, West Palm Beach, Delray Beach. Supercar Week tribute events are starting to take place throughout the entire state of Florida. Events are planned in Orlando, Tampa, Sarasota, Fort Myers, Naples, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale. And also a special shout out to the Ben, the host hotel for the event. It's a 208-room boutique hotel, part of the acclaimed Marriott Autograph Collection on West Palm Beach waterfront, inspired by Bird Spillman Dewey's Ben Trovato Estate, one of the Palm Beach County's original great homes. The Ben brings to West Palm Beach what his namesake is known for. Okay, we're just getting word from our producers that what the helicopters are doing, they want to get up here and get caught up for the Trump boat, so they're not going to be able to follow any other boats with aerial shots because they want to be back here for the start-finish line. Now, I see a boat coming back in right now, and it is a V-bottom. I wonder if that's the Apache.
Yes, it is. It's the Apache coming in 46 miles an hour.
Yep.
Kelly Gunn has eyes on it, and she'll be getting their official time to us. And
so I do see that boat coming in. It is coming in on plane. But while they're coming in, I was saying that the Ben brings to West Palm Beach what its namesake is known for, being a notorious host and social facilitator, offering prime views of the Palm Harbor Marina and scenic intercoastal waterway. The hotel's amenities includes stunning rooftop lounge with an expansive heated saltwater pool and an adjacent bar. Enjoyable poolside cocktail service and nightlife vibes. Situated at the northeast quadrant of Olive Avenue and Banyan Boulevard, the hotel is 1 block from the Clement Street, West Palm Main Street, and within walking distance of Lifestyle Hub, Rosemary Square, and luxury has arrived in downtown West Palm Beach with the Ben.
so I think I can hear a boat coming. Is that the Apache coming in right now?
Yeah, that is the Apache right there.
Okay.
So here comes the Apache coming into the harbor. Lauren Leibel, Bobby Latham, and Yaviz Saviri.
Short day for there. I'm sure they're disappointed.
You know, they're coming in under power, so I wonder if maybe they lost a motor and just didn't want to be that far out and have a problem.
That would make sense. All right.
We go back on board Trump 2024, boat number 47, in honor of the position of presidency that we are looking forward to. Special shout out to Fast and Loud Photography, providing high quality photo, video, and production of media services focused on motorsports. They're proud to be partnering with Starstream Pro to bring the excitements of true offshore endurance racing to your living room and personal devices with multi-camera feeds and non-stop action from the Ocean Cup Gateway Marathon. Follow all of them on social media channels at Fast Loud Photography and at Starstream Pro.
And that's Eric Briner, and he actually does all our graphics works for Ocean Cup too.
Yep.
He's very talented.
Yeah, he's one to put together our sheets that I'm reading off of for the details.
Yep, he's great.
I definitely want to give a shout out for what I do, and thank you, Janet, for having me out here. I just love being a part of the Ocean Cup Series. And my company is out there, and with over 30 years in the marine industry, we have experience in all the contacts you need to help sell your current boat or find you a new one. We specialize in high performance, and our focus is really on representing quality boats from GoFast center consoles to cruisers and yachts. Our job is to connect premium customers with premium boats. Whether it's new or pre-owned, cruising or racing, let us help you find what you're looking for. Please join our mailing list to receive periodic updates and newsletters. You can find us at www.sunsetboatsales.com. That's sunsetboatsales.com, and we're on Facebook at sunsetpowerboatsales.com. Or Sunset Powerboat Sales is our Facebook page. And we just welcome anybody that's looking for a high-performance boat or wants to sell their boat. Give us a call. Now, we'll see if we've got The Trump 2024 boat looks like it's calmed down a little bit. I wonder if they stepped their pace up. So they started at 9:02. We are now at, or 9:22. We're now at 10:30.
Yeah, I don't think he's on the pace he was hoping to be.
9:22.41.
Has anybody heard anything about the Ray Marine boat?
Haven't heard anything about the Ray Marine boat. Haven't heard anything about Heat Wave, where they're out, or race winning. Haven't heard from those guys either.
Yeah, they're in the no-sell zone. Oh.
So we'll wait for the Trump boat to pop back into our sell zone so we can get it. Okay, that right there should be, that is our aerial view of Trump 2024.
Wow. So awesome. So as we were saying earlier, the Gateway Marathon is a very historic event. Interrupt me because I'll talk about this, but if something pops up, let me know. But in 1965, there was a Gateway Marathon from Palm Beach to Lucaya. The reason it's called the Gateway Marathon is because Palm Beach is the closest Americas to the Bahamas, and so it was called the Gateway to the Bahamas. So that's why this is called the Gateway Marathon. And in 1965, 39 boats started and only 22 finished. And as I go through these years and these boats, you'll see that usually it's a 50% fallout because this endurance racing is brutal on the equipment. You can see on board with Nigel, he's got some stuff rattling around, a camera that fell off, different things happening. What boat was that they were out there with? Did you see that? I didn't see.
Yep, that just looked like just somebody
spectator?
sitting enjoying watching the race.
That's awesome. So that was in 1965, and it was an aluminum boat. It's called Maritime. It had twin 400 horsepower Daytonas, and their average speed was 48.9 miles an hour. It took them 3 hours and 41 minutes to go from Palm Beach to Lucaya, one way. That's a long run. In 1965 was the second Gateway Marathon, and Alan Brown won. There were 27 boats that started and only 12 finished.
The attrition rate is high.
Yes, their average speed in 1967 was 45.8. Woo, look at this shot. He trimmed it up. Crew chief is here coaching him, backseat driver. Herb Stotler has done a fantastic job of preparing this boat. It hasn't run for a year. We've been waiting. We didn't get it out to California. Nigel ran his little bat boat out in California last year, Aki Mannerfelt boat. And so we got the mothballs out of it and put in a bug bomb and got her tuned up, and here she is running great. It's a tribute to Herb and his team.
Yep, looks like it has calmed down as they've gotten to this side of the Gulf Stream. So we'll look and see if we can get some speed numbers. Roger Norman and Nigel Hook in Trump 2024, boat number 47.
So the Hilo's backtracking, so it's with one of the boats, I'm sure, so we should be picking up a boat soon.
I think he said we're going to only have this boat for the rest of through the finish.
Is that right? Okay.
Yep. So the helicopter's hanging out. Both the helicopters are right there. Obviously, both helicopters are there. So they're doing 108 miles an hour right now.
Oh, yeah. They're entering into the cell zone. Okay, we got Nigel at 100 miles an hour.
So we'll see if he opens it up. They went out at 9:22.41, and it is about 10:34 right now.
How's your math?
Yeah, they're gonna have to get back here in less than 10 minutes.
Okay.
And they just now popped into the cell zone.
Well, that's about 8 miles. I think they can do it. 8 to 10 miles typically.
Well, at 100 miles an hour, they should cover 8 miles in 5 minutes.
Here we go. They could be setting a new record here for the over 45-foot Class A cat.
Now, my guess is Nigel has a stopwatch running somewhere on that boat, telling him where he's at. Otherwise, his crew chief's not talking to him, so he's not telling him where he's at. I'm hoping Nigel's got himself a stopwatch there, and he sees how far away he is. I'm sure his GPS is telling him where his start line is, because that would have been something he marked in the GPS, so he knows what his ETA. Again, this is the 2024 Gateway Marathon. 128 miles is their total round trip. And the number to beat is 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 4 seconds. So they're talking right now thinking that Trump is about 9 miles out. You can see the helicopter right out of Nigel's window off the port side of the boat. Their speed has stepped up. They're running about 110 miles an hour right now. Looking the last mile or so that maybe that I could possibly judge speed capability, it's looking pretty nice. The only thing that might get their attention is if there's a pleasure boat that kind of goes across what their path is and leaves an unexpected bump there.
So we've still got some boats in the no cell zone, if you will. They're still out there battling away. So we have Heat Wave, we have Race Winning Brands. Those two teams are up till 4 a.m. making sure that the Heat Wave boat could make the start today. And I just got to tell you, that's teamwork in its finest. 4 a.m. there was an early start this morning, and they were up till 4 working on those two boats. It was pretty amazing. We got the Fountain Ray Marine boat out there. Hopefully we'll see them coming in under their own power shortly. And of course we have the Patriotic Duty, yeah.
And they went out at 9:19, and the number they need to beat is 1 hour 37 minutes. So I got to believe they're pretty close to being able to stomp that number. We'll see, because right now we're, 1 hour and 10 minutes? Hour and 15 minutes, hour and 12 minutes. So Trump is coming in right now. They're doing 125 miles an hour. They're coming right at the opening, so we'll see what they do. I don't see them yet. They should be kind of coming from the left of the entrance.
This is going to be awesome.
52 Mystic with a pair of 1350 1550s. So Herbie, are they running in the 1350 mode or the 1550 mode? 1350 mode.
There's a lot of traffic in this channel.
There is. But it doesn't look nasty. And I rate nasty based on where my office is at Haulover. And all the folks that boat in South Florida or watch the video channel, so people leaving Haulover Inlet can tell you what that's all about. All right, the helicopter stepped up the speed. So has Trump 2024. They're running 134 miles an hour according to the speed that was just on our screen. They have definitely pushed the throttles forward. He's got to be looking at that time going, we have got to get moving. Helicopter speed's 144 miles an hour.
I'm sure the helicopter's right with them. Look at this boat run. Woo!
Look at the water just laid down as they come in.
Yes.
I should be able to see them any minute. So they're left at 9:22:41. Yeah, it is going to be close. Helicopter in tow. So just looking to see when they actually get into my view. Lots of boats coming into the marina at the same time, and the start-finish line is right at the entrance to the inlet. So the helicopter is pulling ahead. The Trump helicopter is pulling ahead. The Patriotic Duty helicopter is still pacing them. Down to 116 right now. So they've got to watch the traffic. This is a rules of the road race. Here they come. You can see the two helicopters in tow.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. What a pretty picture we have.
This is going to be close, folks. Cannot wait to see the official time as they come in.
The good thing,
I'm sure Jay Johnson is sitting there going, kind of got mixed feelings going, maybe they won't get it.
I
Maybe
will
they
tell
won't
you,
get it.
Jay is proud to see this Trump 2024 boat running like it's running. I promise you, Jay is a happy man right now.
Well, as we all have seen, never count Trump out.
Never, ever, ever quit.
All right, they're coming in right now.
This is going to be amazing. So Herb Stotler's on the radio with Nigel warning him that there are a lot of spectators out there that are excited to see this boat come in up close and personal.
It has cleared, though. We've got a nice big opening coming in as they come at right as they're hidden behind the palm trees. I can't see them.
I can't either. This is going to be amazing.
The helicopters peel off. One of them right with them. Here they come. Trump 2024 coming across.
Woo! Well done. Look at that helicopter. Whoa. Okay. Patriotic Duties alive. They're coming in at 110. It looks like they're about 6 miles out. So our next boat to be bringing it home will be Patriotic Duty. Hey, and
I don't think there's any doubt that Patriotic Duty is going to beat the record from last year. It's going to be really close at 115 because I'm showing 10:42 right now. They just came in. So it looks to me like they're maybe 5 minutes over.
Well, we'll find out. I'll do some math in a minute. But I do want to talk about some of the other teams because we have Wheels. It's a shame we had Wheels and Tim Mamone. Wheels is Rick Baluka, and he was planning to race in an Ocean Cup a year ago and started talking to me. And we were trying to get this all figured out. And I'll tell you, he's put his heart and soul into his boat, the Midnight Express boat. Him and Tim Mamone, they actually were up. They got their test in the day before the event. And unfortunately, Wheels had an infection and ended up back in the hospital and was unable to compete. And I'll tell you, when I heard that, it was 11 o'clock on Thursday night or Wednesday night. It was like a sucker punch. My heart just broke for Wheels. And I just want to tell you, Wheels, I really wish you were here, but we're focused on Huntington Beach or Miami. We'll probably do the Miami race. So wish you were here, man. Tim's been helping out in race control. That's right. Tim's been helping out in race control, and I know you're here in spirit. So I'm sure you're watching too.
All right, well, we've got an interview with Roger down on the dock. Let's go to that right away. That's Bobby Latham. Oh, no audio on that. We'll have to get that so we can hear what happened and let Bobby explain what's going on. Oh, here she's looking at some official time or some unofficial times. So they came in at 10:41, left at 9:22, so they're off by 9 minutes. (1:15:04). So you're showing 1:18:50.
Looks like they missed it.
Close. All right. Well, Zach, if you get the audio back up to hear from Bobby Latham, you can just let us know and we can cut to that.
Right. So I did a little quick math. Unofficially, it looks like we're almost 1 hour and 19 minutes for the Trump boat. That's unofficial. We will confirm that with our official scorer, Kelly Gunn.
All right, looks like we might have our audio back. Let's go to our interview with Bobby Latham.
Patriotic Duty is coming in at the finish line, too.
All right, guys, I'm here with Bobby Latham with Latham Marine, and he's a throttle man on the Apache Power Boats, number 69 boat.
Good morning.
How's it going? So what was it like out there today?
The sea conditions were just ideal. Boat was running just fantastic. We were just skipping across the tops of the waves under nice control, and the boat was just responding. The drives, everything was great.
Here they come.
The Apache boat was phenomenal.
Got
It
the
was just-
pacing
it
at
was
about
just
75 miles an hour.
Oh, those Apaches, yeah, they handled rough water like nothing else.
Oh,
did
yeah.
they?
Yeah, just.
Look at that.
It's a lot of fun to throttle those boats.
Oh, yeah. And so I understand you had a problem coming in, or?
Yeah, we were just about to the Bahama Bank and we lost the crash box on the center drive. We're running along and all of a sudden this inner engine just over revved, cut back on the sticks, and
Oh, sounds like we might have lost our interview with Bobby Latham.
and realized it was a crash box.
Oh, man. So I guess that what can take you out of a race sometimes, but I think we got the Trump boat coming in, guys, so we're going to cut to that.
Right, thank you. Sorry.
My first time.
All right, thank you guys. As we now look out, that is the Patriotic Duty coming in. Now they have gone off plane before they come to the actually where they're going to get clocked. That's Tony Adams, Steve Seaton, and Alan Bellinghausen. So they've got to get to that mark yet. They haven't been timed as being finished. So they're just being prudent coming through all the traffic. As they are now just approaching the point. I can see them from our vantage point here at the Marriott.
Well, I'm wondering if they had a problem right
You
at
know
the
what?
end.
I am seeing black smoke.
Okay, well, let's get their finish time, which they're going to make it. They'll finish.
Yep, and I think they're going to come in under the number. They needed to be less than 137.13.
Yeah.
So they're going to be pretty close. And we'll see that.
Wow.
My visual looked like there was black smoke coming out of the boat. Can't tell on the screen.
That could have been one of the spectator boats. There might be.
Could have been spray just getting kicked up by the helicopter, too, I
Yeah,
suppose.
here they are. They've crossed the line. So they finished the race. We'll get the unofficial time from Kelly Gunn, official APBA timer shortly here. Look at the pink flamingo swimming around out there. That's a big float. Okay, Patriotic Duty.
Yep, so that wasn't smoke. That was just the way the water's getting kicked up from the helicopter blast. So there's Patriotic Duty. They come in. Second boat to come across as we go to the pits, and there is Trump 2024 getting tied up to the dock right now. Nigel Hook and Roger Norman. Roger's first race in an offshore powerboat. I'd say he killed it.
I think that first he tested once with Nigel, and they were just he was a natural, and I'd say he killed it. Yes, indeed.
Well, I'm sure Fran is very proud of her son out there. She sounded thrilled when I was talking to her yesterday.
Okay, so we have Heat Wave being tracked out in the Bahamas at 62 miles an hour. Race Winning Bands is still running at 64 miles an hour. So this event is not over. We have boats still on the course. I haven't heard from Ray Marine.
Or Race Control to tell us what's going on with Ray Marine.
Correct. So Race Winning Bands, Heat Wave, and that's it. Are those the last two?
Yep.
Yes. So they're both helicopters heading back out. If you're watching the online tracking, the helicopters heading back out to pick up those boats and follow them home. Get some live video of them running.
So there's Nigel and Roger just coming out of the boat, getting tossed a bottle of water each. Looked like the boat ran flawlessly. Think about these runs as you run as fast as you can run for as long as you can run. So you got to balance out. Look, I know the boat's faster, but if I run harder than this for these conditions, I could hurt something and not finish. As it used to be in the old days, attrition in offshore is the nemesis. That is the biggest deal you've got to deal with. It's hard on the drives, it's hard on propellers, it's hard on the hull, it's hard on the guys in the boat.
Well, we had 6 boats start, and we've already had 2 turn around.
And one of them we have not seen come back yet. I'm a little concerned about Andy Copeland in the
Ray Marine.
Yeah, the Super Fountain Ray Marine boat. So they're buttoning up the Trump boat at the dock.
So Heat Wave's running at 60 miles an hour. It looks like they're heading toward Grand Bahama. So they haven't crossed the 79th meridian yet. Race Winning Brands is not on the tracking, so I don't know which direction they're heading, but they popped up briefly, so we know they're at that end of the course. Let's see if I have any updates from Jamie Rose. Not yet. He's letting me know as he sees boats, so I'm guessing that Race Winning Brands is still heading east. Helicopter. What a fantastic helicopters we have. 150 miles an hour heading out to catch up with these guys. I want to thank Wayne and Walter Gardner, both extreme professionals. Unbelievable support from this helicopter team. I can't thank them enough for everything they've done for Ocean Cup.
Crew checking out the motors, making sure everything's golden there. Hats off to Herbie Stotler and his team for keeping those engines running, those Mercury QC4V 1350, 1550 dual calibration motors. And they're the fastest guys on the water right there, Nigel Hook and Roger Norman.
So we've got Race Winning Brands back in the tracking. They're going 65 miles an hour. Heat Wave's going 60 miles an hour. It looks like they're together, actually, pretty close in the tracking system. So they've buddied up, it looks like.
So they've already passed the meridian and are on their way back.
Negative. They're on their way to the meridian.
Okay.
And then they'll be coming back.
There we go. I see it on the screen
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, now that we have a trail, it's easier to tell.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So that's great. Both boats are still running.
Well, they're running within a quarter of a mile of each other.
Yes, they are. So Jamie Rose is out there from the Bahamas. He's the Mercury dealer over in the Bahamas and a friend of mine. He's who worked with me on the first event where we stopped at Freeport. And
all right, it looks like we have an opportunity to talk to Nigel and Roger. All right, they're working on getting the audio hooked up there. Looking forward to hearing from them. Now, Janet, we've got the award ceremonies open to the public tonight, correct?
that's correct. That's going to be at the Bend in front of the Proper Grit restaurant. We have some show cars down there, the Rolls Royces, the Al Packer Ford trucks, DJ, and it's going to be a party. So that's going to start at 5 o'clock. So it's open to the public. It's a beautiful venue. I couldn't ask for a better spot. So please come out and join us at the Bend this afternoon.
Well, let's go back down to the docks. We have an opportunity to speak with Nigel and Roger from Team Trump 2024, boat number 47.
Roger Norman, Nigel Hook. Man, that was a quick run.
It sure was, boy. We were airborne for quite a ways, a couple times. It was pretty wild. I don't think I've ever even been that long of a distance in an off-road truck. It's amazing, man. Yeah, we'd like to thank Herb Stotler for putting together a great boat that was 100% reliable, and like to thank Starstream for doing a great job with all the coverage of the event. And I'd like to thank Nigel for inviting me to come out and see what it's like to drive an offshore boat.
Well, give us a little bit of a breakdown
Thank you.
about how it was, Roger.
It was pretty wild. My helmet was hitting the roof quite a bit. One time it banged me so hard I made some noise, and he's all, "Are you okay?"
In off-road, we call it giving her the berries, right?
That's right.
All right, well, let's ask Nigel. How was the run for you?
Yeah, always just a terrific opportunity, right, to go across the open ocean to Biscay's Bahamas and back. And like the open ocean, it throws everything at you. So we had some pretty calm water heading out of here for about, 10, 15 miles. And all of a sudden, when you get into Florida Straits, it just, a lot of commercial traffic, I think, just tore up the water. So we, had our hands full at that point. And then turning west end, it's kind of cool to be in the Bahamas, right? You see the island there, and you get to turn it and come back. But you know what? I felt confident the whole race gave it as much as she could because I know I had Roger by my side. He was a driver. Not an issue. He's just so calm there, you know, just making sure he's on course, getting over these waves and making sure it lands as smooth as possible. So,
yep. And
boats in first class.
Janet and Martin were both talking about that. You guys were just like icemen in the seats. Didn't phase you. Just kind of kept your eyes on the prize and just kept the hammer down.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great combination. Great combination. You know, especially having experience off-road last weekend in the Baja 500. It's like, you know, the memories of that still hadn't escaped back to the offshore.
Yeah.
You got some of your buddies just showing up back here too with the Patriotic Duty team. Did you see any other traffic on the water while you guys were out there, Roger?
We did. We passed the Apache boat as he was rounding the turn and coming back in, and we were still on our way there. We left, I think, about 20 minutes after they did, but then we ended up passing a lot of traffic that was coming out.
It looked like it was a fun ride, man. So give us a little bit of a feeling of how it was to be out there, because you haven't really experienced going that fast in, well, a red rocket ship right here.
Yeah, you know, it's really hard to actually stay 100% on track at those speeds, and with the boat, you know, flying in the air and then catching a little bit, and you're just constantly trying to stay on that line. And but we did a pretty good job with that. So.
Well, we were talking to Robert Latham. You know who he is. He was telling us, you know, when you're in these boats, you got to get kind of a rhythm, right?
Yeah.
Is that something that you guys were in sequence with?
Yeah, that's what he's a pro at.
Yeah.
The throttles are extremely important because, you know, if he wasn't doing a great job with that, we wouldn't be here right now.
I got you.
That's for sure.
Well, hey, I'm glad to see you guys back safe and sound, and obviously you guys crushed it out there, so appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, George.
Have a good one.
Thanks, George.
Yeah, give it to him.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting to hear. It's always interesting to hear the perspective of the pilots, because they are the ones that are looking at the reality of what's in the boat. We're watching what we see on a camera. I never saw anything that looked like the heads were hitting the canopies, because they were just so calm the whole time. There was no panic, no craziness. We definitely saw it get bumpier, and then when they were coming in, definitely got smoother, so they were able to open it up a little bit. But you could tell by watching the speeds that there's no doubt that it got bumpier. And then there were some times where the video froze, and I'm guessing that, you know, when that happened, that was just a good jolt that kind of locked everything up for a hot second. And that's when he's talking about his head bumping. That's a bell ringer when that happens. As we're back on the docks, kind of walking up to the front, take note of that number 47 right on the side there. That number 47, that's the one we got to focus on.
Okay, so I got an update. It probably was in the interview. I didn't hear that, but the Apache lost a crash box.
Right, yeah, Bobby was saying that.
Yeah, and then Raymarine, the update I have is that they are okay, everybody's okay, and they're beached somewhere. So they must have had to come in, and maybe they were taking on water.
It looked like something happened in the front of the boat. I don't know if it breached something at the front of the boat, and that's what we saw, that weird spray coming off the bow and over the top. And then when he went up into the bow and went and got what looked like an inflatable, you know, hard to tell what's going on. That boat was built at Skater, so it's a fully cored bottom. I mean, it's got a thick balsa core bottom. And, you know, maybe it's conceivable they hit something. That's one of the crazy risks that we just don't think about in these ocean races. Is there stuff out there that you may or may not see? If it's just below the surface and just floating there, you may not even know what you hit, but you hit something and your day ends just like that. And we look at our telemetry right now, Heat Wave running about 45 miles an hour, race-winning Brands running about 50 miles an hour. They're within a quarter of a mile of each other right now. They're heading back. They're heading back, but they're still on the Bahamas side of the lose the signal zone, if you will. And that's where we saw the obvious slowdowns in speed. So that's where the water's obviously the bumpiest.
So they're going to have a long day, because if they left at 9:30, Heatwave, I have a start time around 9:30 and race winning shortly after that. Race winning Brands, I should say. That's the halfway point. And it's 11 o'clock. So we're looking at it maybe a 130 if they stay on pace.
So these are 35 to 40s, but whatever Copeland's Ray Marine didn't finish last year, so there is no record right now in the 35 to 40 Class A, correct? So whatever comes in, that is going to set the record.
That's correct.
For this event, and that'll be the record to be beat next year.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, so we did have 2 boats racing against each other. That would be Andy Copeland and the Ray Marine boat with Cody on board. And then the race-winning brands with Ed and Bill McComb on board. And then the other 2 boats that were going head-on-head were the Apache and the Outer Limits. So it's great because, nobody wants to be the only one in a class, and we have some competition happening now. And then next year you try to better your record.
Let's see, the greater than Outer Limits, you're talking about the Mirage. You're talking about Heat Wave, correct?
Outer Limits and Apache are in the same class. The Patriotic Duty.
Oh, Patriotic Duty.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might have said it wrong.
Okay, no. I was
Okay.
thinking the. So Heat Wave is racing against whom? Are they
themselves?
In their own? Okay, they're in their own class. Gotcha. Okay, well, there's no doubt that the Outer Limits was the class of the V-bottoms today. Frustrating to hear that they lost a crash box in the Apache. Glad to see they came in under their own power at speed. That's fantastic. But disappointing for those guys because they had the record, and it now should have. Well, it definitely went to Patriotic Duty. It had to have.
Yes. I haven't done the math.
All right, we're.
I can do math.
On the dock, they're getting ready to line us up with another interview.
Great.
But again, it's tonight at the Bend. At the Bend is where we're going to have our award ceremony. So that is open to the public, and we invite everybody to come down and see the boats up close and personal.
What a beautiful hotel, and it's the rooftop bar with a pool. And I'll tell you, they have welcomed Ocean Cup and these boats with open arms. Moving this equipment around in West Palm Beach downtown is not easy, but we got 5 boats on display and the beautiful lawn in front of them, and that was a lot of thanks to the city of Palm Beach and helping me get the permits and making sure I had all the paperwork filed. And we had a fantastic street party on Thursday night in front of the Bend.
All right, let's go down to the dock. We've got somebody else to talk to about what the conditions were like as we look at Patriotic Duty.
All right, Alan and Tony, waiting for Steve. Man, it looked like it was rough.
Yeah, it was rough until coming back.
You can put it right here. Oh. Just hold it right up to your mouth. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the middle of that channel, I don't, what do you call it, Alan?
Just three, 4 footers close apart, and they were coming right at us.
Yeah.
Head on seas.
Yeah,
the
Patriotic Duty boat did good, huh?
Yeah, it did really good. It handles it well.
Yeah, we had a top speed of, I think, about 116.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, 116 is pretty fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's about the fastest we get out there in open ocean.
How was in terrain is off-road, right? How was the water?
It was really choppy, but the following sea going out really helped. But when we made the turn, we knew the seas were going to be head on, and then we slowed down to about 75, 80 for probably about a third of the course, and then we started slowly picking it back up as we went along.
Well, seeing you guys come out of the boat, let's let Steve answer this. You guys look like you guys had a pretty, a lot of exertion from your bodies.
Yeah, going out,
it's okay.
we were able to hold 105, and then we got about 10, 15 miles out and it started getting rougher, and we just had to slow down to 90-something. But from what I felt, about 8 to 10 miles before the turn, and about another 15 after the turn, it was a beatdown. So
wow.
Yeah, neck is sore.
What about you?
To answer your question, though, yeah, it was physically a beat down.
Did you guys do any preparation before the race to be able to make sure that you guys are sustaining your longevity throughout the event?
Not really, just our normal routine.
All right, well, the Patriotic Duty boat seemed like it was working great today.
Absolutely. No, the thing's virtually flawless.
Give us a little bit of info on the boat and break it down for us real quick, Alan. Or you want to do it, Steve?
What do you want to know?
I just want to know about the boat, man. Tell us about it.
It's a 2004
Outer Limits 47 GTX. And it was completely gutted down to bare fiberglass and completely repowered with Mercury Racing 1350s and all digital fly-by-wire flat screens, all new wiring, new windshield, everything. Everything, the whole boat was repowered.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. It was really cool to see you guys. I appreciate you guys doing all of the mounting of the cameras so you could have such a great live stream. You guys were fantastic out there. We got to give all the viewers a really, really good show, so thank you guys.
Appreciate all you guys' help.
Yeah.
All right, well, good run, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was an awesome
All right,
run.
thank
We
you.
enjoyed every bit of it.
By our unofficial math, it looks like they might have beat the record by 10 minutes. So congratulations to the Patriotic Duty team. Now, we're going to hang with you for maybe another 10 minutes or so until we lose contact with our final two boats that are going to hit that no contact zone. So we'll hang with you and kind of go over stuff and see if we get anybody else to talk to down at the pits. Just what a great day of racing, and it's so interesting to hear the guys. We could see it by the speeds that they definitely had to slow down as they got closer to the island, and on the way back it was definitely slower closer to the island on the way back than it was closer to the island going. So going into the head sea as opposed to a following sea, I typically kind of like running into a head sea rather than a following sea, getting pushed over the top of waves. But the spacing on them, I think, really favored the bigger boats. That's what made those guys still be able to run the kind of speeds they ran. No doubt, when they get out of the boat and they're telling you it was bumpy, all I can say is hats off to the team for how smooth they made the boat look, because from our perspective, it looked like they were having just an absolutely amazing ride.
So we still have two boats out there. The race-winning Brands is the Skater. It's not really what would be known as a rough water boat. So we'll see how they're doing on the fight coming back. And then we have Heatwave, which is a smaller boat. And so these guys are going to be out there a while. We're going to be wrapping up the live stream. But please stay tuned, and we'll be still tracking them. So you'll be able to see the map. You'll be able to track the boats. And, of course, Race Control is on it. We'll be monitoring. We'll get Ray Marine home safely, and we'll also be keeping track of race-winning Brands and Heatwave. But the live stream coverage, as far as Martin and I and commentating, and that will be wrapping up shortly here.
And we want to thank our sponsors for helping make this happen. Sailfish Marina Resort, Sea Cadets, Apache Powerboats, Rolls-Royce Motor Cars, SD Land and Marine, Global Survival Solutions, Alpacker, the Palm Beach County Sports Commission. Can't do it without those people. Fast and Loud Photography, Big Sky Aviation, Starstream, Muscle Vodka.
Muscle Vodka, yep.
Yep, Supercar Week, The Ben. You know, the Big Sky Aviation for helping get these helicopters to us. Actually, that was one of the ones that changed on my paperwork.
Yes.
So,
those guys have been absolutely amazing. The helicopter, they flew it up. They're the ones that capture the SpaceX equipment. So they go out and they have the rescue with the astronauts, and these guys are unbelievable. They have the hotline into the helipad for the hospital, and they're out there taking care of us today and have gone way beyond the call of duty with this event, and I can't thank them enough.
I think the guys that we really want to thank primarily, especially from my side of doing this kind of thing for a long time, the guys at Starstream. Okay, what they're able to do, and putting this together the first time on powerboats, because the marine environment is different than the off-road environment because water is introduced to the scenario. So you got moisture and stuff that you don't have. And I get to deal with dust and other stuff that we don't get to deal with. But moisture plays havoc on electronic equipment, and I would say it did a fantastic job. I can't wait to work with them again. Just absolutely amazing technology. And you know, as we apply this to more and more boats and we get more and more teams that come out for this kind of offshore racing, we're going to be able to bring it to you at home so you can see, and we'll put you in the cockpit and you can really see what's going on. I love that y'all got to see these guys running these boats, so you get to see what they're seeing from their perspective in the boats, and it just doesn't get better than that.
And that team just came off the Baja 500, and I don't know how many cameras they had running there. So they are really top notch.
Yep, they got their stuff going on for sure. And then again, one more time, I want to thank my group, Sunset Boat Sales. With over 30 years in the marine industry, we can definitely help you sell your current boat or find you a new one. So
yeah.
Feel free to reach out to us at sunsetboatsales.com.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
As we look at our start-finish line, we're still, you know what? We have lost those guys. They have now moved into the no-contact zone, so I think now is probably as good a time as any to sign off and thank everybody for joining us here at the Ocean Cup, the 2024 Gateway Marathon, Palm Beach to the west end of the Bahamas and back. Janet, thank you for having me out here. Looking forward to the Miami race and certainly Huntington Beach, my hometown.
Yes.
In Huntington Beach, we get to get joined by Eric Nordskog again, I believe.
Yes,
so
that's correct.
That'll be great. I always enjoy getting together with Eric, and we talk about the old times and what our histories of being around some of the greatest names in powerboat racing. So
it's amazing.
It is a great, and then you team that up with the Pacific Air Show. It just doesn't get much better than that.
Kevin Elliott at the Pacific Air Show, Cheyenne Hit, they're just top notch. So that's an event not to miss because not only is it a fantastic world record run, it's an amazing air show.
Well, we want to thank everybody for joining us. It's been a pleasure. Please follow up. We'll have updates on official timing. We'll get posted on the website. And, of course, at the Bend tonight, we'll have the awards ceremony at 5 o'clock. We'll look forward to seeing you there. I'm Martin Sanborn for Janet Wilson. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in Miami.
Bye-bye.